Chapter 125. Tai Hall? The Tai Hall that was known as the second sect in Yangzhou along with the Guiyuan sect, and completely controlled the Chu county? Ting Qingshan looked over and saw Jin Tao standing alone in a corner, leaning against a wooden pillar with his eyes closed. My lords, my lords! The white-haired elder shouted loudly. That black monster could come in from anywhere in our village. My lords, please choose a good place and slowly guard it. When it's late at night, I believe that my lords will definitely be able to see that monster and kill it. When the old man spoke to the martial arts experts present, there was a trace of reverence in his tone. This clan leader Jean is right. We should all spread out so that we can take care of each other. This way, the monster will have nowhere to run. Someone shouted, and someone else responded loudly. Who? The Tai Hall expert, Jin Tao, who was resting with his eyes closed, tapped his feet on the ground. Like a phantom, he directly arrived at a distant roof and flew to an even further roof. Very quickly, he disappeared from sight. Immediately, the warriors either dashed into the alleys or flew to the roofs, searching for a good spot. Duan Ho hurried. Brother Qin Lang, it's easiest to see that monster from the roofs. I'll go find a good spot first. I'll take my leave first. As he spoke, Duan Ho tapped his feet and like a feather, he floated lightly but swiftly to the roofs. After a few flashes, he disappeared as well. Ting Qingshan smiled. This Duan Ho's Qin Gong seems to be better than that Jin Tao's. Ting Qingshan also leaped onto the roofs and controlled his inner strength to offset his body weight. His body was as light as a swallow as he flew on the roofs and rushed to the northeast of Jinjia village. He then sat cross-legged on a rooftop and began to meditate, waiting for the arrival of that black monster. Clan leader, can those experts kill that monster? The men in the clan all looked at the white-haired elder. Sigh. The white-haired elder's eyes were filled with sorrow as he sighed. Do we have any other way? We can only hope that these experts can help. If they still can't do it, according to our previous discussion, if that monster is still not dead after 5 days, our clansmen will start migrating and leave this place. These men who were unafraid of death were all silent. Tonight, everyone, hold on and patrol properly. The white-haired elder said. Yes, Patriarch. These dozens of the clan's most elite men were all armed with sabers and spears. They formed teams of 10 and spread out to patrol the village. The night was hazy, and all the martial artists were waiting quietly. Duan Ho was casually lying on the roof, his legs crossed and swaying. Black monster, it can eat a person in an instant. If that kid didn't lie to me, the black monster should be a demonic beast. I, Deputy Xiaoyao, have never seen a demon beast in my travels. I'll have to take a good look today, Duan Ho muttered. The title of Marquis Xiaoyao was given to him by himself. His eyes scanned the surroundings, and his ears would occasionally move. It's been 4 hours, why isn't he here yet? Duan Ho muttered. Suddenly, a very soft sound. Duan Ho's eyes lit up, and he immediately flipped over the roof and landed silently on the ground. He took 2 light steps, flipped over, and flipped into a courtyard. The door to the central room was already open. With monsters every day, who would dare to leave the central room open? It can actually open the door? And the sound of opening the door is so soft. If it wasn't me, but a first-rated warrior, they probably wouldn't have heard it. Duan Ho was also shocked. Legend has it that demonic beasts can think like humans, it's indeed true. Duan Ho had already determined that the monster was a demonic beast. Duan Ho quietly hid in a corner of the courtyard. In the dark of night, it was hard to notice a person hiding in a corner of the courtyard if one didn't look carefully. Whoosh! Duan Ho only felt a gust of wind, and a huge black shadow appeared in the courtyard. Duan Ho only saw the faintly glinting scales, and the black shadow flashed again, leaping out of the courtyard. Trying to escape, Duan Ho leaped up, and followed the black shadow that had just leaped out of the courtyard, and waved his hand, Xiao. A flying dagger instantly flew across the sky and hit the black shadow. Clang! There was a crisp sound and sparks flew from the dense scales. The huge black shadow drilled into the alley at the side and disappeared from Duan Ho's vision. What a terrifying body! It seems to be almost 10 feet tall and has 4 hooves. Its entire body is covered with dense scales, and those scales are really... Duan Ho's heart turned cold. He was a first-rated warrior, but his flying dagger couldn't pierce through the monster's scales. In that short moment, Duan Ho only saw it blurry in the dark of night. As for the details, he couldn't see it clearly. Duan Ho raised his head and shouted, "Monster! Black monster!" The shout was like thunder, resounding in the sky above Jinjia village. "Catch the monster!" Instantly, the entire Jinjia village was filled with shouts. Every household opened their doors, and almost everyone rushed out. In a few breaths' time, the entire Jinjia village was filled with clansmen. Every clansman seemed to be in a frenzy, each holding a weapon. "The monster is here!" Someone immediately shouted. "The monster is running towards the north." Shouts sounded. When everywhere was filled with people, it was easy to see the monster. Ting Qingshan looked towards the southwest. He chose the northeast of Jinjia village, but who would have thought that the monster would actually appear in the southwest? No wonder he didn't notice it at all. Monster. It should be a demonic beast. Furthermore, it should not be a very strong demonic beast. If this monster's strength is comparable to the flood dragon in the Frost Jade Pool, I'm afraid it doesn't need to be afraid of humans and has to act stealthily. Ting Qingshan's figure was like lightning as he dashed towards the direction of the shouts. Obviously, the moment the monster ran to a place, the people there would start shouting. Demonic beasts had intelligence. Naturally, they would also have arrogance. If a demonic beast was as strong as the flood dragon, why would it act stealthily and escape when encountering a large number of people? It would just kill it directly. Use heavy weapons to attack that monster. A loud shout came from not far away. The one who shouted was the expert of Tai Yi Hall, Jin Tao. Jin Tao held his saber and chased after the monster at an extreme speed. Jin Tao looked down at his left arm. There was a huge wound on his left arm. Even though the acupuncture point was sealed, it was still bleeding slowly. This demonic beast can only be considered average among the demonic beasts. If there were more people, we could still capture it. What a pity. Report to the sect. That demonic beast must be living in the blazing mountain. Jin Tao chased with all his might, but he could only see that the distance between him and the black shadow was getting further and further. Soon, the black shadow disappeared from his field of vision. Jin Tao could only stop in frustration. The others couldn't catch up, but Ting Qingshan could clearly see that huge black shadow. The distance between them was about 400 zhang. Although it was far, with the help of the weak moonlight, Ting Qingshan could still see it with his eyesight. Using crossing worlds, Ting Qingshan quickly closed the distance between them. One fled and the other chased. Very soon, they had reached the Mountain of Flames to the north of the Jinjia village. The reason why this Mountain of Flames was named Mountain of Flames was because a long, long time ago, a volcano had erupted here. Of course, this was a very long time ago. Currently, the Flame Mountain was full of plants and grasses. Once the huge black shadow entered the mountain, it became very agile and its speed became even faster. "Haha, you better stop running." Ting Qingshan laughed. From the previous distance of 400 zhang, after running for a few miles, the distance between him and the huge black shadow was less than 3 zhang. Roar! The demonic beast was anxious. It roared as if it wanted to threaten Ting Qingshan. At this moment, Ting Qingshan could clearly see the appearance of the demonic beast. This demonic beast was about 9 zhang tall. It had 4 hooves, a long face and a long mouth. Its head was similar to the mouth of a crocodile or a Tyrannosaurus rex from his previous world. There were protrusions on its back and short sharp awls. Its strong torso, including its abdomen, was covered with dense scales. Its 4 strong hooves were like those of a lion. However, these 4 hooves were also covered with scales and had sharp claws. No wonder it can swallow people in one gulp. When Ting Qingshan saw this, he understood. Its head is so big and its mouth is so long. Once it opens its mouth, it can swallow a person easily. However, this demonic beast is only so big. How can it swallow 3 people in one gulp? How can its stomach hold so many people? Ting Qingshan realized that this demonic beast's stomach was only slightly bulging. So, Ting Qingshan suddenly leaped above the demonic beast. Roar! The demonic beast raised its head, opened its bloody mouth, and was about to bite down. Courting death. The reincarnation spear in Ting Qingshan's hand pierced forward, pursuing shadow spear art, 80,000 gene of strength. Clang! A crisp sound rang out. The demonic beast was pierced by the huge force of the spear and rolled on the ground. It then immediately flipped over. What a powerful scale! Ting Qingshan took a closer look and discovered that it was only one scale that was broken. Underneath this broken scale, there was actually another layer of scales. Unfortunately, the strength of its body seems to be very ordinary. It was actually stabbed down by my long spear. No wonder that Jin Tao shouted to use heavy weapons. Ting Qingshan also understood the demonic beast's weakness. Although the defense of its scales was strong, its physical strength was ordinary. Roar! The demonic beast raised its head and roared. Suddenly, its entire body turned red and emitted a faint red glow. Boom! The demonic beast instantly turned into a red shadow and dashed far away. So fast! Ting Qingshan hastily chased after it. Phew! Phew! In the time of a few breaths, the demonic beast dashed to the top of the mountain. Let's see where you can run to. Ting Qingshan was slightly surprised. The demonic beast's maximum speed was actually almost the same as his maximum speed. When it reached the top of the mountain, the demonic beast faced the cliff and jumped down without hesitation. Ting Qingshan stood at the edge of the cliff and looked down at the bottomless canyon. He sneered and jumped down as well. However, as he jumped down, every time Ting Qingshan descended tens of meters, he would use his palms to grab the protruding rocks to slow down. After a while, Ting Qingshan reached the bottom of the canyon. Ting Qingshan looked around and there were no traces of the demonic beast. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Hehe, it's the 6th day of the outbreak. Let me remind everyone, starting from the 28th of September, the monthly tickets will be doubled. Therefore, brothers, please keep your monthly tickets and throw them away when the time comes. Everyone, please don't throw your monthly tickets carelessly. Leave them for tomatoes. Chapter 126. Originally, the moonlight was already very weak. In the canyon, it was almost pitch black. Ting Qingshan stood at the bottom of the canyon, motionless. He was listening with his ears. Where did this demonic beast go? Ting Qingshan listened for a long time. Other than the sound of the wind and the leaves being blown by the wind, he could not hear the demonic beast running. This demonic beast should be living in the blazing mountain. It has been here for a long time, so it must be very familiar. To find it, I'm afraid it will be difficult. Ting Qingshan calmed his heart and walked into the canyon. He carefully observed the surroundings, wanting to find some traces. However, in this canyon, after searching for a long time, Ting Qingshan did not find any traces of the demonic beast. I didn't expect that this demonic beast would escape. Ting Qingshan was very helpless. Without a choice, Ting Qingshan chose to go back. However, just as Ting Qingshan jumped off the cliff and landed at the bottom of the canyon, there was a depression on the cliff wall about 20 feet away. The 4 claws of the demonic beast easily pierced into the rock, and its huge body curled up in this depression. From the outside, it was impossible to discover that this demonic beast was hiding here. This demonic beast's cold eyes, with a faint dark red glow, occasionally swept a glance at the canyon below. This hiding lasted for more than 4 hours. It was only at the darkest moment of the next day, when the canyon was pitch black, that the demonic beast jumped down like lightning and landed in the canyon. Then, it flew a few times and left the canyon. In the martial arts field of Jinjia village, torches were lit one after another. The warriors were all gathered here. What is that monster? It is even stronger than a bison. When I slashed at those dense scales, it hurt my palm instead. That is a demonic beast. Those scales are absolutely invulnerable. I think, even the armor made of materials like dark steel is far from being comparable to the scales of this demonic beast. The warriors exclaimed in admiration. If we kill that demonic beast, peel off its skin and make a set of scales, haha, that is definitely a treasure. Stop dreaming. You want to kill that demonic beast with that little ability of yours? The group of martial artists seemed to be very excited. For them, being able to see a monstrous beast was enough. As for whether or not they could kill the monstrous beasts, most ordinary martial artists did not even dare to think about it. While the martial artists were excited, the people of Jinjia village were anxious and helpless. The patriarch of the Jin clan had an anxious expression on his face. Looking at the group of warriors who were chatting wantonly, he couldn't help but shout, "My lords! I wonder if there is any lord who has killed that black monster?" he shouted. But the martial artists chatted excitedly with each other, completely ignoring the patriarch. A man beside the patriarch became anxious and shouted, "You bunch of martial artists! My Jinjia village is facing a great disaster. I asked for everyone's help, but all of you can't kill the demonic beasts, yet you're still chatting and laughing here. You still have—" "Shut up!" the clan leader of the Jin clan hastily shouted. "Patriarch!" The man was so anxious that his eyes turned red. The entire Jinjia village had been tormented by this demonic beast to the point of insanity. Now that the martial artists were still feeling proud of themselves, they naturally felt uncomfortable in their hearts. "Hey kid!" A burly man with a red birthmark on his face, carrying a long saber on his back, sneered at the angry man. "What's wrong? Did our brother's words make you unhappy?" Immediately, the other warriors in his group also looked at the man from Jinjia village with a smile that was not a smile. The man from Jinjia village clenched his fists tightly, his expression ugly. "Motherf***, have you all forgotten my fists?" A frivolous voice sounded. "You don't have the ability to kill the demonic beast, yet you dare to bully the ordinary mountain people? What kind of martial artists are you? I think you should just buy a piece of tofu and knock yourself to death." Duan Ho walked over with a smile. The few martial artists' faces instantly flushed red. They looked at each other and didn't dare to speak again. They had personally experienced Duan Ho's strength when they had just arrived at Jinjia village. "Brother Qin Lang!" Duan Ho was suddenly overjoyed and shouted towards the distance. In the distance, Ting Qingshan had indeed just landed on the training field. Seeing Duan Ho running over, he walked over and said, "Brother Duan, seeing that Brother Qin Lang has arrived so late, you must have gone to chase after that demonic beast. I wonder if Brother Qin Lang managed to catch it?" Duan Ho asked. As soon as these words came out, a large number of Jinjia village clansmen gathered on the training field looked expectantly and nervously at Ting Qingshan. Being stared at by thousands of people, Ting Qingshan's heart palpitated. From those pairs of eyes that were filled with anticipation, Ting Qingshan could understand how much these Jinjia village clansmen wished for the demonic beast to be killed. "That demonic beast is too cunning. I wasn't able to kill it," Ting Qingshan shook his head and said. The thousands of Jinjia village clansmen's eyes darkened. They were almost in despair. "However, that demonic beast was injured by me. With this demonic beast's intelligence, I reckon that it won't dare to come to Jinjia village in the near future," Ting Qingshan said again. These words caused the surrounding Jinjia village clansmen to reveal expressions of joy. My lord, you said that the demonic beast won't dare to come for the near future. The Jin clan leader ran over. Duan Ho, who was at the side, said, Uncle, that demonic beast is as intelligent as a human. This time, it was injured and suffered a loss. It won't dare to come again in the near future. Duan Ho had seen with his own eyes that the monster had silently cut open the door latch of the residence and sneaked into the house. Such an intelligent monster wouldn't dare to come again the next day after suffering a loss. Big brother, big brother! Suddenly, a figure rushed to Ting Qingshan's side and grabbed onto Ting Qingshan's trousers. Ting Qingshan looked down and saw that it was a child that looked to be only 6 or 7 years old. This child raised his head and looked at Ting Qingshan, his eyes filled with tears. Big brother, I beg you. You must kill that monster and avenge my parents. I beg you. Second baby, quickly let go, the Jin clan leader hurriedly said. He dragged the child to the side because he was afraid that Ting Qingshan would kill the child out of dissatisfaction. After all, there were inhumane people among the warriors. I'm begging you, big brother, the child cried. The Jin clan leader hastily said, Sir, many of our Jinjia village's clansmen have died in the past month. Second baby's parents were eaten by that monster in one night. Luckily, second baby didn't live in the same house with his parents. Otherwise, he would have been eaten that day. Ting Qingshan looked at the child and his heart trembled slightly. In his previous life, he was an orphan. He lost his parents at such a young age. Don't worry. Duan Ho patted his chest towards the Jinjia village clansmen. We have the advantage in numbers. Today we didn't have enough people. In the future, there will definitely be more and stronger warriors coming. That demonic beast will definitely die one day. When the Jinjia village clansmen heard this, they only felt slightly better. Brother Qinlang, do you know what kind of demonic beast it is? Duan Ho asked. I know many demonic beasts, but I don't know this demonic beast. I don't know either. Ting Qingshan shook his head and said. Ting Qingshan had only been in the Guiyuan sect for a short period of time, so he hadn't looked for books related to demonic beasts to read. Brother Qinlang, did you discover anything special when you chased after that demonic beast? Maybe you can determine what kind of demonic beast it is. Duan Ho said. Ting Qingshan didn't hide anything. That demonic beast can suddenly turn red all over its body and increase its speed, shaking me off in an instant. Turn red all over its body? Duan Ho was startled, and his eyes immediately lit up. On the training field, the Tai Yi Hall expert Jin Tao also heard the conversation between Ting Qingshan and Duan Ho. When he heard turn red all over its body, Jin Tao's face revealed a hint of ecstasy. Turn red all over its body? Could this be the red-scaled beast? Yes. According to the records regarding the red-scaled beast, when it was young, it was already black in color. When the red-scaled beast reaches adulthood and swallows the black fire spirit fruit, its scales will turn red all over its body, and it will grow to a height of 3 zhang. Juvenile red-scaled beast. Jin Tao thought to himself, this matter can't be spread, or else it will be difficult to obtain the black fire spirit fruit. At this moment, haha, it's the red-scaled beast, it's the red-scaled beast. A loud laugh rang out, and Jin Tao's expression changed drastically. The one laughing was Duan Ho. Duan Ho. Jin Tao rushed over and glared at him. Why are you glaring at me? Duan Ho immediately laughed. Haha, I understand. You want your Tai Yi Hall to monopolize that treasure? Don't say any more. Jin Tao lowered his voice. Standing at the side, Ting Qingshan was puzzled and asked, Brother Duan, what is the red-scaled beast that you mentioned? Jin Tao immediately glared at Ting Qingshan, but Ting Qingshan ignored him. Duan Ho smiled and said, Someone doesn't want me to say, but I will. Brother Qinlang, this red-scaled beast is an extremely powerful demonic beast. It is said that it is over 3 zhang tall and 5 to 6 zhang long, looking like a small mountain. Moreover, its entire body is red. Even an innate master would find it hard to break through its scales. Furthermore, it can spit out flames that can melt gold and iron. Ting Qingshan was shocked when he heard this. Over 3 zhang tall? That was a colossus that was 2 to 3 stories tall, and even an innate master would find it hard to break through its scales. Spitting out flames that could melt gold and iron? This was indeed a terrifying demonic beast. Standing at the side, Jin Tao secretly cursed. However, he was well aware of Duan Ho's strength. He had already been injured while chasing after the red-scaled beast, and was definitely not Duan Ho's match. Furthermore, there was a mysterious expert, Qin Lang, who could injure the red-scaled beast. However, that is an adult red-scaled beast. In the books, it was recorded that the scales of the red-scaled beast were black, but in an emergency, its entire body can turn red. These 2 sentences were too brief. I didn't think that this was a red-scaled beast. Now I know that this is an infant red-scaled beast, a red-scaled beast that hasn't grown up yet. Duan Ho explained in detail. Ting Qingshan didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he heard this. A demonic beast with such an abnormal defense was actually an infant red-scaled beast. However, no matter how powerful the red-scaled beast is, we still have no way of taming it. What really excites warriors is the spiritual treasure Black Fire Spirit Fruit that is born with the red-scaled beast. Duan Ho's eyes lit up as he continued, Brother Qin Lang, when the red-scaled beast grows up, it can only undergo its final transformation after eating the Black Fire Spirit Fruit, shedding its black scales and growing out its scarlet scales. It will become a terrifying demonic beast. We warriors can snatch the Black Fire Spirit Fruit before it does. Ting Qingshan's heart skipped a beat. The red-scaled beast had to eat the Black Fire Spirit Fruit to become a demonic beast that even an innate master would be afraid of. What if a person ate it? Chapter 127. Duan Ho's words attracted the attention of many warriors. Jin Tao was anxious and dissatisfied, but Duan Ho became even more excited and beamed with joy as he spoke. Everyone, do you know the benefits of eating the Black Fire Spirit Fruit? Duan Ho looked around and said proudly. I know. Once an expert at the peak of the post-liminary realm eats the Black Fire Spirit Fruit, he can become an innate master. A burly man shouted. His words caused a commotion among the crowd. Even Ting Qingshan was shocked. Innate masters were extremely rare. How could one become an innate master just by eating a spirit fruit? Jin Tao snorted, stupid donkey. The burly man who spoke glared and was about to explode in anger. You? His companion immediately pulled him back. That's an expert from Tai Yi Hall. Duan Ho said loudly, Haha, it's not that easy to become an innate master. From the post-liminary realm to the innate realm, one must rely on oneself. However, as everyone knows, the post-liminary realm cultivates essence into qi. To attain the innate realm, one must harmonize the spirit and qi to refine qi into spirit. This so-called spirit is the spirit of essence, qi, and spirit. This thing is very mysterious and indescribable. However, to attain the innate realm, it is closely related to the spirit. And this Black Fire Spirit Fruit is said to be able to nurture one's spirit, making the spirit in one's mind stronger. It will be easier to attain the innate realm. Ting Qingshan nodded to himself. This was a transformation of one's inner spirit. Brother Duan, you've said so much. In other words, eating the Black Fire Spirit Fruit will give one hope of attaining the innate realm? Someone shouted. Of course. The hope is greatly increased. If you cannot attain the innate realm after eating the Black Fire Spirit Fruit, then you can forget about attaining the innate realm for the rest of your life. Duan Ho said with certainty and laughed. However, the Black Fire Spirit Fruit is a treasure. Although the Black Fire Spirit Root that grows the Black Fire Spirit Fruit is not as good, it is still very magical. Someone interrupted. I heard that eating the black fire spirit root can improve one's physique, strengthen one's muscles and bones, and give one great strength. Duan Ho nodded and said, Yes, eating the black fire spirit root will allow an ordinary man to have the strength of 10,000 jin and become a first-rated warrior. However, the effects of the black fire spirit root are far inferior to that of the black fire spirit fruit for an expert at the peak of the post-liminary realm. A first-rated warrior who could lift 10,000 jin was considered a first-rated warrior, but that was only the lowest level of a first-rated warrior. Just like Zhuge Yun, Commander Zhang Feng, Commander Ji Hong, Yu Song, and the Earth-ranking expert Meng Tian, which one of them didn't have the strength of tens of thousands of jin in an instant. Ting Qingshan's vigor of the reckless bull had been nurtured to this point. Now that he had reached the large success stage of the 9th layer, his inner strength could instantly burst out with a force of 60,000 jin. To powerful post-liminary realm warriors, eating the black fire spirit root would increase their muscle strength by 10,000 jin. Increasing their strength by a little was just icing on the cake. The black fire spirit fruit could allow them to step into the innate realm. That was the real treasure. Black fire spirit root. Ting Qingshan was moved. This black fire spirit root is able to nurture the black fire spirit fruit, so it definitely has a very mystical power. After eating the black fire spirit root, this power would be integrated into an ordinary person's body, allowing an ordinary person to have the strength of 10,000 jin in an instant. Ting Qingshan was a strong practitioner of the internal martial arts, so he was very clear about this. If a person wanted to increase their strength, they had to continuously develop their potential and improve themselves. The human body existed in nature, so it had its limitations. For example, Ting Qingshan's strength of 180,000 jin was already his limit. If he wanted to improve further, increasing the human body's potential was one way. How to increase it? Eating the black fire spirit root would allow a person to have the strength of 10,000 jin in an instant. The mystical power contained within the black fire spirit fruit has indeed greatly increased the human body's potential. Now that my body's potential can no longer be excavated, if I were to eat this black fire spirit root. Ting Qingshan was really looking forward to it. From Ting Qingshan's point of view, the black fire spirit root would definitely not only increase one's strength by 10,000 jin. The potential that the black fire spirit root increases is something that those who cultivate inner strength are unable to truly excavate. This was what Ting Qingshan believed. Once the potential of the black fire spirit root is truly excavated, the increase in strength would definitely not be just 10,000 jin. As for how much, I will only know after eating it. At this moment, compared to the black fire spirit fruit, Ting Qingshan's desire for the black fire spirit root was even greater. It had been a long time since he had been able to increase his physical strength. The black fire spirit root was Ting Qingshan's hope to further strengthen his body. On the training grounds of Jinjia village, the warriors were discussing excitedly. All of them wanted to obtain the black fire spirit fruit and the black fire spirit root. To an ordinary warrior, obtaining the black fire spirit root would allow them to directly become a first-rated warrior. It was also a treasure. Humph. Jin Tao coldly snorted and went to the side to retrieve his warhorse, leaving Jinjia village in the middle of the night. Brother Duan, I still have matters to attend to, so I'll take my leave first. Ting Qingshan cupped his hands and said, Brother Qin Lang. Duan Ho laughed and said, For the next few days, don't ever leave the area around the blazing mountain. You see, the black fire spirit fruit, the black fire spirit root and the red-scaled beast, these three things will cause many warriors to rush over. This place will be bustling like never before. Ting Qingshan smiled and left. Looking at Ting Qingshan's back as he left, Duan Ho's smile became even more radiant. Jin Tao? You don't want me to tell you? I want to spread the news. I want to spread the news to Yangzhou and the nearby Qingzhou experts. All of them will rush over. Haha, a large number of experts will gather. Only then will it be lively. This Duan Ho only wished for the world to be in chaos. Duan Ho was very clear that with the presence of Tai E Hall, he had no way of competing with them. Since he couldn't get it, he might as well cause a huge commotion. Duan Ho had always been a person who liked bustling scenes. Yunlian. Once Ting Qingshan returned to the inn, he immediately summoned Du Hong and Ting Qinghu. Commandant, did you see that monster? Du Hong asked with a smile. Ting Qingshan asked again, Old Du, let me ask you. Its entire body is covered in black scales, it has 4 hooves, there are extremely short spikes on its back, and its mouth is long and big. Furthermore, during an emergency, its entire body can turn red, and its speed and strength will greatly increase. Is that the red-scaled beast? Du Hong had stayed in the Guiyuan sect for a long time and knew a lot. Du Hong was slightly startled and then exclaimed in ecstasy, Yes, it's the red-scaled beast, but it's only a cub. Once it grows up and eats the black fire spirit fruit, it will shed its skin like a snake, changing out a layer of scales, and its body will also become larger. Furthermore, it can spit flames. Commandant, you said that the demonic beast is the cub of the red-scaled beast? If it's a cub, then. Du Hong said a lot about the black fire spirit fruit and the black fire spirit root. Ting Qinghu also became excited. What did you say? Ting Qingshan frowned. The black fire spirit fruit will definitely mature after the red-scaled beast grows up? Duan Ho had not explained in such detail before. Yes, Commandant. Du Hong obviously knew more than Duan Ho. The red-scaled beast can only be born in places where the black fire spirit fruit grows. The red-scaled beast's growth rate is extremely shocking, and it changes almost every day. Its body gradually grows bigger every day, and its appetite increases as well. It likes to eat meat. Ting Qingshan immediately understood. The cub of the red-scaled beast had initially eaten 1 person a day, then 2, then 3. Its appetite had indeed increased rapidly. But from the books that I've read, there are no records of it eating humans. Du Hong said, I think the red-scaled beast will mature completely in another month and become over 2 zhang tall. If it wants to evolve further, it can only eat the black fire spirit fruit. What we need to do is to snatch the black fire spirit fruit. Ting Qingshan added in his heart, at the same time, we need to snatch the black fire spirit root. Not long after the red-scaled beast matures, the black fire spirit fruit matures. Once the black fire spirit fruit matures, the fruit will instantly turn from black to bright red, and this will last for 24 hours. If no one picks it within 24 hours, it will rot. The black fire spirit fruit must be placed in a jade box to ensure that it does not rot. Du Hong explained in detail. Ting Qingshan nodded his head as he listened. Commandant, Du Hong asked, this black fire spirit fruit is of great importance to our Guiyuan sect. Within the sect, should we report this matter? Du Hong looked at Ting Qingshan's expression. Tomorrow morning, we will rush to Hua City in Shuyang County and inform the men of the Guiyuan sect in Hua City to pass the news to the sect. Ting Qingshan was very clear that after Duan Ho and the other warriors spread the news, there would definitely be many people who knew about it. Tai E Hall would also participate. Tai E Hall's base was in Chu County. It had the geographical advantage, and there were many experts there. With the help of the Guiyuan sect's experts, there would be more hope for him to snatch the black fire spirit root. The next morning, Ting Qingshan and the group rushed to Hua City. With the influence of the Guiyuan sect, they had a station in any city in Yangzhou. Of course, in the areas controlled by Qinghu Island, there were very few people stationed in the station to show that they had no ill intentions. And in Shuyang County, which was not controlled by any sect, there were many people stationed in the station. Jiangning County City, Guiyuan sect, Zhuge Yuanhong's study. Sovereign. Master. Commander Ji Hong and Commander Guan both bowed. Zhuge Yuan Hong threw the secret letter in his hand towards Ji Hong. Second martial uncle, you and Luer, take a look at the contents of the secret letter. Ji Hong's face lit up with joy when he read it. Guan Lu, who was at the side, read it and the coldness on her face melted. She revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. Master? There's an adolescent red-scaled beast in the Blazing Mountain at the border of Shuyang County and Chu County? This news was personally reported by Ting Qingshan and the others. It can't be false. Zhuge Yuan Hong smiled. This black fire spirit fruit is very beneficial to warriors at the peak of the post-liminary realm. After eating it, the chances of reaching the innate realm will greatly increase. Second martial uncle, our target this time is the black fire spirit fruit, the black fire spirit root, and the red-scaled beast. Red-scaled beast? Ji Hong was startled. Sovereign, the red-scaled beast can't be tamed. In history, no one had ever tamed a red-scaled beast. Demonic beasts were extremely difficult to tame. Of course, there were very few demonic beasts that could be tamed. Zhuge Yuan Hong smiled faintly. The black fire spirit fruit is very important to the red-scaled beast. It can only transform after eating the black fire spirit fruit. Therefore, when the time comes, it will also fight with you. If the red-scaled beast did not eat the black fire spirit fruit, a mature red-scaled beast with a height of more than 2 zhang would still be strong. However, with the help of you and Ting Qingshan, you will still be able to kill the red-scaled beast. Once the scales of a mature red-scaled beast are worn on its body, those who are not innate masters will not be able to penetrate it. It is a priceless treasure. There was no doubt about the power of the red-scaled beast scales. If the red-scaled beast is stronger than you and snatches the black fire spirit fruit, it will also transform, shedding its previous scales and growing a scarlet-red one. Your mission will be to snatch back the shed black scales. Zhuge Yuan Hong said. Second martial uncle, Luer, the two of you will choose 30 elites from the Black Armored Corps and 30 experts from the Gui Yuan sect's core disciples. You will set off this afternoon and head towards Hua City in Shuyang County to meet up with Ting Qingshan and the others. Yes, Sovereign, Master. Ji Hong and Guan Lu both bowed. Chapter 128. Chu County, in a restaurant in Scholar Tree City. A man dressed in plain clothes was sitting at a table by the window, drinking wine and eating. A long saber was tied to his waist. Sir, your large plate of mutton. The waiter ran over with a plate and placed the dishes on the table. Please enjoy. He then turned around and left. However, as he walked away, he touched the man's left arm. Strangely, the sleeve of the left arm was lifted up by the waiter. One-armed. His left arm was broken. The man looked at his left arm and continued to drink and eat without a care. Losing his arm was something that happened a long time ago. In the past, he had been desperate and crazy. However, time had healed everything. After 20 years of hard work, he once again possessed great strength. He was much more stable and frightening than he was 20 years ago. Yesterday afternoon, Tai E Hall sent out a team of over 100 elite experts from Chu County's Chu City to Shuyang County. The leader of the team was Tai E Hall's elder Wei Songlong. 10 years ago, he was an expert ranked in the earthly ranking. Not far behind the one-armed man, a few warriors at a table started to discuss. The one-armed man laughed coldly. Wei Songlong? There were countless experts in this world. If one didn't improve, they would be replaced by those who improve. Wei Songlong was ranked in the earthly ranking 10 years ago, but he was only ranked 71st. Now, he had been replaced by an even stronger expert. Of course, being able to stay on the earthly ranking for a short period of time also represented the strength of the Tai E Hall's elder. Why did Tai E Hall send experts to Shuyang County? Could it be that Tai E Hall wants to control Shuyang County? You're wrong. Did you know that yesterday, there was news from the blazing mountain of Shuyang County that an adolescent red-scaled beast was born. Moreover, it was eating people in a village called Jinjia Village. It was discovered by many warriors and killed its way into the blazing mountain. That was only a young beast that was nearly 3 meters tall. Do you know what the appearance of an adolescent red-scaled beast means? The young warrior said proudly. The one-armed man's body trembled slightly. Adolescent red-scaled beast? The appearance of an adolescent red-scaled beast means that there is a black fire spirit fruit and a black fire spirit root. It is said that once an expert at the peak of the post-liminary realm eats the black fire spirit fruit, he will become an innate ranker. The young warrior said. His words immediately caused an uproar. It's that black fire spirit root. If you eat it, you will directly become a first-rated warrior. The one-armed man drank a cup of wine, and his gaze became even more profound. Juvenile red-scaled beast? Black fire spirit fruit? Little fool, Bill. The one-armed man said indifferently. Very well, sir. The waiter hurriedly ran over. That's a total of 6 straps and 20 coins. He casually tossed down a piece of broken silver that weighed about 7 chien. Is this enough? The waiter, who had been in contact with silver for many years, weighed it in his hand and said, Enough, enough. The one-armed man immediately walked out, led his horse, and rushed towards the flaming mountain. Black fire spirit fruit. I must get it. The one-armed man's gaze was cold and fierce. The scene that happened in the restaurant was very normal. Scholar Tree City was very close to Flame Mountain, so the news reached them almost the very next day. This news spread from 1 to 10, and from 10 to 100. It was getting faster and faster, crazily spreading in all directions. Many warriors, either to fight for the black fire spirit fruit, or to fight for the black fire spirit root, or even to watch the show. Everyone knew that the Flame Mountain would be very lively in the next 1 or 2 months. The experts of the entire Yangzhou, and even the northern Qingzhou, would have time to rush to the Flame Mountain. With so many experts gathered, it would be a rare event. Perhaps there would be many powerful experts. For example, the experts of the Earth ranking, Hidden Dragon ranking, and Young Phoenix ranking. A caravan slowly advanced on the official road. A caravan with a large number of merchants would usually invite many guards. The strength of the guards was also divided into high and low levels. The stronger ones could sit comfortably in the carriages. Unless it was necessary, they would be too lazy to make a move. Creak, creak. The wheels of the carriage rolled. On one of the carriages, a barefooted young man dressed in plain clothes sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, his left hand holding onto his zanmedeo. No one dared to disturb this young man. Initially, the other guards looked down on this barefooted young man dressed in plain clothes. There were 2 guards who wanted to extort money from this young man, but the other guards only saw a flash of blood, and the 2 guards fell to the ground with their throats slit. The group of guards was overwhelmed with shock. The young man drew his blade, killed 2 people, and sheathed his blade. They didn't even notice. The speed at which he drew his blade and the ferocity of his blade were too terrifying. From then on, the guards didn't dare to provoke this barefooted young man. Did you guys hear it when we were resting at the inn just now? An adolescent red-scaled beast appeared in the Flame Mountain at the border of Shuyang County. Once the adolescent red-scaled beast grows up and eats the black fire spirit fruit, it will be at least 3 zhang tall and 5 to 6 zhang long. The other guards discussed the news as they advanced. The barefooted young man, who was resting with his eyes closed, opened his eyes. Black fire spirit fruit? Black fire spirit root? The barefooted young man squinted his eyes like a cold lone wolf. Following which, the corner of his mouth curled into a smile. These guards are right. This time, it will definitely attract thousands of warriors. I have been roaming the world, eating and sleeping in the wilderness for 8 years. Those so-called warriors at the peak of the post-liminary realm couldn't even withstand a single move from me. This time, with so many experts gathered, it's time for me, Yen Tai, to train hard for 8 years and become famous. Master will definitely be happy if he finds out that I'm listed in both the Hidden Dragon ranking and the Earth ranking. If I can obtain the Black Fire Spirit Fruit. Thinking of this, the barefooted young man no longer hesitated. The barefooted young man carried the bag beside him and leaped. With a kick, he sent a guard who was riding a war horse flying. He sat on the war horse and whipped the horse, causing it to gallop at a high speed. My horse! The guard hastily shouted. Bang! A hard object smashed into his head. The guard looked down and saw that it was a tail of gold. So stingy! The guard cursed in a low voice. My war horse also cost nearly 100 taels of silver. Why don't you give me a little more? The guard ran and temporarily boarded the carriage. Brother, you should count yourself lucky that the god of killing gave you gold. What can you do if he doesn't give it to you? The other guards laugh. That death god, where is he going? Who knows? It's good that he left. Here I always have goosebumps. The guards left halfway. The merchants didn't care and couldn't do anything about it. Furthermore, the merchants paid half of the money along the way and the other half when they reached the destination. They weren't afraid that the guards would escape. They wouldn't be at a disadvantage anyway. Whether it was those who wanted the Black Fire Spirit Fruit, Black Fire Spirit Root, or those who wanted to join in the fun. Or those who wanted to take advantage of the gathering of experts to make a name for themselves. All of them rushed to the blazing mountain after receiving the news. There were some who roamed the world, eating and sleeping in the wilderness. They wanted to become famous in one fell swoop. This was a good opportunity. There were also those who had achieved success and fame, and their hearts yearned to reach the innate realm. There were also those who bore deep hatred and wanted to rapidly increase their strength to take revenge. There were also those who wanted to join in the fun. There were disciples of some reclusive, peerless experts who wanted to become famous throughout the world. In short, all kinds of people were rushing to the blazing mountain. Shuyang County, in a luxurious mansion in Hua City. This was one of the outposts of the Guiyuan sect in Hua City. Ting Qingshan and the rest were temporarily staying here. These 2 days. The blazing mountain is really lively. Ting Qingshan stood by the window of the pavilion, drinking wine. His gaze occasionally swept across the streets in the distance. So many warriors have arrived at the blazing mountain. It's only been 2 days and there are already hundreds of people gathered there. 3 inns have been opened over there. There were too many people, and the powerful warriors didn't care about money. The inns could take the opportunity to earn a large sum of money. Hence, 3 more inns were built in the blazing mountain area. But that adolescent red-scaled beast is indeed cunning. It hasn't appeared for the past 2 days. I've entered the blazing mountain 3 times to search, but I haven't found any traces of the adolescent red-scaled beast. Ting Qingshan had also thought of ways to search, but he couldn't find the adolescent red-scaled beast. The adolescent red-scaled beast had obviously sensed danger. However, Ting Qingshan was sure of one thing. The adolescent red-scaled beast would not leave its nest until it had eaten the Black Fire Spirit Fruit. Cousin is really diligent. Ting Qingshan glanced at the courtyard in the distance. Cousin Ting Qinghu was practicing the spear art 5 techniques of the ardent flame. From the corner of his eyes, Ting Qingshan noticed that a large number of people wearing black heavy armor and riding black war horses had appeared on the streets in the distance. Among them, there were also many who weren't wearing heavy armor. Ting Qingshan recognized the 2 people leading the group with a single glance. The one with long silver hair and a cold gaze was the first commander, Ji Hong. As for the one with a cold expression and dressed in black, it was the 4th commander, Guan Lu. Dong, dong, dong. Ting Qingshan immediately went down the stairs and walked towards the front door. The person in charge of this station, Yang Ta, was already waiting at the front door. Lord Commanders, Yang Ta said respectfully, Leave these war horses to my men. Lords, please come in and rest. He waved his hand and a group of servants immediately ran over to lead the horses. A majestic group of people walked in under the lead of Ji Hong and Guan Lu. Lord Commanders. Ting Qingshan cupped his hands towards the two people in front of him. Ha ha, Qingshan. Ji Hong smiled when he saw Ting Qingshan. He walked over and patted Ting Qingshan's shoulder. You've brought glory to our Guiyuan sect this time. You actually defeated Meng Tian. Haha, that's right, let me ask you. That Meng Tian, did you really kill him? Meng Tian had died without a corpse. Furthermore, there was no one around at that time. No one knew if it was Ting Qingshan who killed him. Of course he was killed by me. Ting Qingshan said. Good, good. Ji Hong's smile deepened. He then turned around and said, This is Commander Guan. This time, Commander Guan and I have been ordered by the sect leader to bring 30 black armored core elites and 30 core disciples here. Although the appearance of the juvenile red-scaled beast has attracted a large number of experts, our Guiyuan sect is determined to obtain that treasure. Qingshan, when the time comes, don't hold back. Whether it was defeating Meng Tian or killing him, Ting Qingshan at least had the strength of an Earth-ranking expert. An Earth-ranking expert would be of great use when fighting for the Black Fire Spirit Fruit. Yes, Lord Commander. Ting Qingshan replied. Suddenly, he glanced behind Ji Hong. Ting Qingshan was startled. His gaze locked onto the face of a stocky man wearing heavy armor. The black armored core elite expert also looked at Ting Qingshan in confusion. Brother, are you called Li Jinfu? Ting Qingshan could still clearly remember the genius from the Li Jia village, who had carried a mace of 120 jin. P.S. 3 chapters completed, a great battle is about to begin. Chapter 129. When Ting Qingshan was young, the Ting Jia village and the Li Jia village once sent out their men to compete for water for 3 rounds. At that time, Li Jia village's Li Jinfu shocked the people of the Ting Jia village. The wolf-tooth mace that weighed 120 jin and the ruthless man were deeply engraved in Ting Qingshan's memory. Commandant Ting Qingshan, you know me? Li Jinfu was slightly surprised. Of course, he knew Ting Qingshan. Nowadays, Ting Qingshan was very famous in the Black Armored Corps. Secondly, Li Jinfu had been in the Black Armored Corps for many years. After marrying a wife and having a son, he would go home to visit his family once every 2 to 3 years. Of course, he knew the genius Ting Qingshan from the neighboring village. However, Li Jinfu didn't know how Ting Qingshan knew him. Li Jinfu left his hometown when he was 18 years old. It had been about 13 or 14 years. Ting Qingshan was only 17 years old this year. In other words, when Li Jinfu entered the Black Armored Corps, Ting Qingshan was only 4 years old. How could a 4-year-old kid still remember him? And now, he recognized him at a glance? Li Jinfu. Back then, your Li Jia village fought with my Ting Jia village for water. That time, you defeated my uncle. I remember it clearly. Ting Qingshan smiled. I didn't expect that after so many years, we would meet here. Commandant Ting, you have a good memory. It has been so many years, yet you still remember. Li Jinfu smiled. After more than 10 years, Li Jinfu was no longer the wild man. He had become calm. Haha. Qingshan, so you and Jinfu are from the same hometown. Ji Hong smiled. Jinfu is the corporal of my personal guards. His marksmanship is also very good. In terms of strength, he is comparable to a centurion. Alright, let's go. You two can chat later. Let's go into the house first. The group of people bustled into the hall. Only then did Ting Qingshan know that Li Jinfu was the captain of Ji Hong's personal guards. Although there were 1,500 people in a legion, and a 100-man platoon consisted of 100 people, among the 15 100-man platoons, there was an elite platoon called the Personal Guard. This was the personal guard of the commander. Since they were personal guards, they were naturally elites. A corporal in the personal guards was much stronger than a corporal in an ordinary 100-man squad. In the spacious hall, more than 80 people were gathered together. Commander Ji Hong sat at the head of the table, and on his left and right sat Commander Guan Lu and Ting Qingshan. In this great hall, other than Ji Hong, Guan Lu, and Ting Qingshan, there were only the centurions, the squad leaders of the personal guards, and some core disciples with high statuses. A total of 8 people were seated, while the others were standing at the side. Li Jinfu? Haha, my name is Ting Qinghu, from Tingjia village. Ting Qinghu enthusiastically chatted with Li Jinfu, who was beside him, in a low voice. Li Jinfu was obviously happy to see someone from the same hometown, and was discussing in a low voice. Cough! A deep cough caused the entire great hall to instantly quiet down. Commander Ji Hong swept his cold gaze across the large group of people before saying coldly, "This time, the news of the birth of the adolescent red-scaled beast has spread far and wide. It just so happens that the adolescent red-scaled beast has appeared at the Blazing Mountain, which is not far from Qingzhou. This time, the martial artists that have been attracted to the Blazing Mountain are at least experts from Yangzhou and Qingzhou. So, when the time comes, there will be many experts. Our Gui Yuan sect disciples cannot be arrogant and despotic. Of course, if anyone dares to provoke us, we will not be merciful. Do you hear me?" "Yes." Everyone present responded loudly. "Yes." Ji Hong nodded his head lightly. He then looked at Ting Qingshan, then looked at Guan Lu, and a smile appeared on his face. "Qingshan, Guan Lu, the sovereign has ordered us to obtain the black fire spirit fruit, black fire spirit root, and the scales of the red-scaled beast. What are your thoughts? Let's hear them all." Discussing methods and strategies was a matter for the higher-ups. As for Ji Hong, it was obvious that he had also recognized Ting Qingshan as one of the higher-ups of this elite team. In reality, although Ting Qingshan was a commandant, he was still one rank lower than Ji Hong and Guan Lu, who were commanders. However, the fact that Ting Qingshan had killed Meng Tian had caused the entire Gui Yuan sect to look at Ting Qingshan in a different light. An expert of the earth ranking no longer needed a position to prove his strength. The scales of the red-scaled beast? Ting Qingshan looked at Ji Hong doubtfully. "Commander, if the red-scaled beast had eaten the black fire spirit fruit, it would be impossible for us to kill it." "Haha, Qingshan. The sovereign's intention is that if the red-scaled beast did not eat the black fire spirit fruit, we will kill it and obtain its scales. If it can obtain the black fire spirit fruit, we will think of a way to obtain the black scales that it shed when it was transforming." Ji Hong explained in detail. Ting Qingshan secretly nodded his head. "Martial Granduncle." Guan Lu finally opened her mouth. Her voice was very cold, and her expression did not change. "When do we set off?" "There's no rush." Ji Hong smiled. According to the information, the adolescent red-scaled beast is still in its growth phase. It will take at least a month before it matures and reaches a height of over 2 zhang. The black fire spirit fruit will definitely mature after the adolescent red-scaled beast grows up. This is the pattern, so we have at least a month's time. The nature of this world was very mystical. When the red-scaled beast was born, its entire body was black. Then, it changed and grew rapidly, reaching a frightening size within a few months. When it ate the black fire spirit fruit, its entire body would turn from black to scarlet, and it would become a terrifying demonic beast that even innate masters would be afraid of. As for the black fire spirit fruit, it was also black when it was not ripe, and only turned red after it matured. It was true that the red-scaled beast and the black fire spirit fruit were born together. "Martial Granduncle." Guan Lu opened her mouth. "I think we should go earlier. Regardless of whether the red-scaled beast can eat the black fire spirit fruit or not, the scales that we are fighting for are all black scales. So, I think we should go earlier." It would be best if we could kill the adolescent red-scaled beast before it matures. Although the scales might be slightly weaker than when it matures, at least we can guarantee that the adolescent red-scaled beast will not be able to eat the black fire spirit fruit. Furthermore, a red-scaled beast that has grown to a height of 2 zhang will be very difficult to deal with. Ji Hong was startled. He then laughed out loud. Guan Lu, you are right. Young people still have good brains. Killing the adolescent red-scaled beast now would definitely be beneficial and not detrimental. Ting Qingshan looked at Guan Lu in surprise. At the same time, Guan Lu also looked at Ting Qingshan and said coldly, Commandant Ting, what do you think? I agree with Commander Guan's words. Ting Qingshan replied. Ji Hong then said in a clear voice, Everyone present, listen up. Tomorrow morning, we will set off for the Blazing Mountain. Today, everyone should have a good rest. Soldiers of the Black Armored Corps, don't wear heavy armor tomorrow. In the Blazing Mountain, it is impossible to ride a horse. There is no need to bring a horse, and there is no need to wear heavy armor either. An inner armor will suffice. Yes. Everyone present acknowledged the order. You may all leave. Under Ji Hong's command, the group of people in the main hall immediately left. Outside, there were servants from the mansion who specially led everyone to their respective residences. In the main hall, only Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong and Guan Lu were left. Guan Lu. Ji Hong's face was full of smiles as he patted Ting Qingshan's shoulder. This time, Qingshan has brought honor to our Guiyuan sect. Killing an expert of the Earth ranking, haha. Now, who would dare to say that our Guiyuan sect's younger generation disciples are useless? Guan Lu, you should learn from Qingshan. Guan Lu looked at Ting Qingshan and suddenly stood up. Commandant Ting, I heard that your spear art is powerful. I would like to ask for your guidance. Ting Qingshan hastily stood up and looked at Ji Hong with a bitter smile. Ji Hong smiled. Qingshan, Guan Lu is one of the few experts of our Guiyuan sect's younger generation. She cultivates the Earth-ranking secret art profound ice sword technique. Her strength is stronger than Zhuge Yun and Yu Song. You should exchange pointers with her. Moreover, I also want to see how good your spear art is. To be able to become a commander, how could Guan Lu's strength be weak? Commander Guan, are you 30 years old? Ting Qingshan suddenly asked. Asking a woman's age was somewhat impolite. Guan Lu frowned slightly, but Ji Hong said, Not yet 30. Lord Commander, I think it's better not to spar with Commander Guan for the time being. Swords have no eyes, it would be bad if she gets injured. Moreover, we are going to fight for the Black Fire Spirit Fruit soon. It's better to conserve energy. Ting Qingshan said. Guan Lu was not yet 30 years old, but her name was not on the Rising Phoenix ranking. Since she was not even on the Rising Phoenix ranking, Ting Qingshan had no interest in competing with her. At Ting Qingshan's level, even if he only used 50 to 60,000 gene of strength, Ting Qingshan would not care about people at the level of Zhuge Yun and Yu Song. Only people at the level of Meng Tian were of interest to Ting Qingshan. Until now, Ting Qingshan had not forgotten the power of the Blood Moon Saber. In terms of saber arts, it was not much different from his own spear arts. Ting Qingshan had relied on the length of the reincarnation spear to severely injure Meng Tian. To be able to kill Meng Tian in one move, Ting Qingshan had relied on his terrifying strength. Commandant Ting. Guan Lu's face turned cold. Commander Guan, we will be leaving early tomorrow morning. It's better to rest early. Ting Qingshan turned his head and looked at Ji Hong. Ji Hong understood Ting Qingshan's meaning and stood up, smiling. Guan Lu, Qingshan is right. We need to be busy tomorrow. Injuries are unavoidable in this competition. There's nothing else to do now. You can all go and rest. Guan Lu coldly looked at Ting Qingshan and said, Once the matter of the Black Fire Spirit Fruit is settled, I will properly consult Commandant Ting on his spear arts. I want to see what methods Commandant Ting has. With that, Guan Lu strode out of the door. Ji Hong glanced at the departing Guan Lu, then smiled at Ting Qingshan and said, Qingshan, it's not a good thing that you rejected Guan Lu this time. Are you not interested in competing because she wasn't ranked in the Rising Phoenix ranking? Ji Hong was a shrewd old man and could see through Ting Qingshan's intentions with one look. Ting Qingshan looked at Ji Hong and smiled. Lord Commander, this Commander Guan won't secretly target me, right? That won't happen. Ji Hong shook his head and asked curiously, Qingshan, I heard that the Blood Moon Saber is with you. Can you lend it to me to take a good look? No problem. Ting Qingshan nodded. Ji Hong hastily said, All right, bring me to your place. Ji Hong appeared to be impatient. Now? Ting Qingshan was a little startled, but he still brought Ji Hong to his place and showed the famous Blood Moon Saber to this old commander who was over 100 years old. P.S. Chapter 1 is here. Chapter 130. The next morning, in Hua City, a large group of people gathered in the front yard of the station where Ting Qingshan and the others were at. Sirs, Yang Ta said in a clear voice, your superior warhorses will be temporarily placed here. From here to the Blazing Mountain. Everyone can ride these ordinary yellow mane horses. At this moment, there were already many cheap yellow mane horses at the entrance of the mansion. This scene made many experts of the Gui Yuan sect frown. Riding a yellow mane horse was too shameful. Ji Hong said coldly, We will go to the Blazing Mountain and set up camp there. After 1 or 2 months, the superior warhorses would easily attract the covetous eyes of some martial artists. All right, get on your horses one by one. Let's go. At Ji Hong's command, the 80-odd men mounted their horses. Yang Ta also ordered the 10 servants to ride the horses. When we arrive at the Blazing Mountain, these 10 servants of mine will take care of your needs for the next 1 or 2 months. Yang Ta smiled. Ting Qingshan and the others left Hua City in a grandiose manner, rushing towards the Blazing Mountain. Although the yellow mane horse was a cheap horse, it could still run 300 to 400 li a day. It took them more than 4 hours to reach the foot of the Blazing Mountain from Hua City. When they arrived, it was already noon. At the foot of the mountain, there were many tents of various sizes. There were also many warriors standing around the tent. They gathered in 2s and 3s, chatting and laughing with each other. It was as if this was a grand party. The arrival of the Gui Yuan sect's group immediately attracted the attention of many martial artists. Look, those are the people from the Gui Yuan sect. Their leader is one of the 4 great commanders, Ji Hong. Tai Yi Hall has arrived, and even the Gui Yuan sect has arrived. It wouldn't be long before the men of Qinghu Island arrived. How can a small sect from Shuyang County compete with them? There was a lot of discussion. There were many people who knew famous people. However, what they said was indeed true. For example, the Gui Yuan sect and Tai Yi Hall had close to 10,000 core disciples and an army of warriors. At the same time, they also had a large number of outer disciples. Compared to these big sects, the small sects in Shuyang County only had a few hundred disciples. How could they possibly compete with these big sects? Set up camp, Ji Hong ordered. Immediately, everyone dismounted from their horses. The black armored core soldiers. The core disciples of the Gui Yuan sect immediately went to help the 10 servants and set up camp together. Large tents were quickly set up. Each tent was big enough for 10 people to sleep and rest in. There were a total of 12 big tents, 2 of which were for the 10 servants to rest in. In the future, these servants would be responsible for cooking and cooking. Ting Qingshan and the rest could search for the black fire spirit fruit with peace of mind. Qingshan, there aren't many people here. At first glance, there are only 200 to 300 people. Ting Qinghu looked around and said. Ting Qingshan also looked around at the scattered warriors. Cousin, it's daytime now. Many warriors are in the Blazing Mountain, looking for the adolescent red-scaled beast. Ting Qingshan had been here 3 times in the past 2 to 3 days. Ting Qingshan knew how shocking the number of warriors here was. A small number of warriors stayed in inns. Most of them stayed at the foot of the mountain, and almost all of them chose to stay at the foot of the mountain near Jinjia village. Although the blazing mountain had a circumference of 60 to 70 li, everyone was certain that the lair of the adolescent red-scaled beast and the location of the black fire spirit fruit was definitely near Jinjia village. After all, the blazing mountain was so big, and there were many villas at the foot of the mountain. But why did the adolescent red-scaled beast only target the people of Jinjia village? The reason was, Jinjia village was close to its residence. "Everyone, come here!" Ji Hong shouted from nearby. Immediately, more than 80 people surrounded him. Ji Hong took out a scroll and said, "This is the black fire spirit fruit and the black fire spirit root. Take a good look at it." As he spoke, he opened the scroll. Ting Qingshan looked at it carefully. There were 2 colored pictures on the scroll. In the first picture, the black fire spirit root was silvery white in color, but its leaves were strangely black. The fruit was round like an apple and was black in color. In the second picture, there were no changes to the black fire spirit root. It was still silvery white in color, but its leaves and fruit had turned red. "This spirit root is not white, but translucent," Ji Hong said in a low voice. "The first picture shows an immature one, while the second picture shows a mature one. Take a good look. Don't be unable to recognize the black fire spirit fruit. Also, the black fire spirit fruit grows in blazing hot places." After showing it to everyone for a while, Ji Hong kept the scroll and said, "Everyone, let's eat first. After lunch, we will enter the mountain." In the hot summer, the blazing mountain was extremely hot. "There are so many of us. Let's split into 3 teams and carefully search this blazing mountain." At the foot of the mountain, Ji Hong instructed, "The 30 elites of the Black Armored Corps will follow me. The Corps disciples will follow Commander Guan. Commandant Ting, your subordinates will follow you. Is everyone all right?" Ting Qingshan and Guan Lu nodded. "After entering the mountain, you must be careful," Ji Hong instructed. "There are many venomous snakes, venomous insects, and wild beasts in the mountain. Don't wander around recklessly." "Commander Guan, Commandant Ting, you should have subordinates who are familiar with the mountain. Listen to them. I don't want to see you fall to snake and insect venom instead of fighting with other warriors and getting injured." "Yes." Ting Qingshan and Guan Lu responded. Ting Qingshan had grown up in the mountains, but Guan Lu had no experience surviving in the mountains. "Return here before evening." "All right, let's enter the mountain." Ji Hong waved his hand. The 3 teams split up and began to explore the blazing mountain. Ting Qingshan wasn't sure about the other 2 teams, but his team had a smooth journey. Everyone was a soldier of the Black Armored Corps, and most of them had experience surviving in the mountains. In the mountains, with Ting Qingshan, Ting Qinghu, and Du Hong leading them, they didn't have to worry about any dangers. "Damn it, it's too hot." Ting Qinghu couldn't help but curse. Ting Qingshan looked at the sky. According to the time scale in his previous life, it should be around 2:30 in the afternoon, which was the hottest time of the day. Qingshan, Lord Commander, also said that the black fire spirit fruit will grow in hot places. "I think that everywhere in this blazing mountain is hot." Ting Qinghu laughed. "How are we going to find it?" "Let's try our luck," Ting Qingshan said. "That juvenile red-scaled beast is very cunning, and it will be very difficult to find it. The black fire spirit fruit is a dead object, so we might be able to find it. Be patient, this kind of life will last for 1 to 2 months. Ting Qingshan understood that even if they found the black fire spirit fruit now, they wouldn't be able to harvest it. They had to wait until the day it ripened before they could harvest it. Ting Qingshan glanced in front of him and saw a group of warriors walking towards them. When the warriors saw Ting Qingshan's group, they could tell that they were from the Guiyuan sect based on Ting Qingshan's uniform. The leader of the warriors was a bald young man with a pair of dead fish eyes and a vulture perched on his shoulder. Heroes of the Guiyuan sect, I wonder which one of you is Ting Qingshan? The bald young man cupped his hands and asked. Is Lord Commandant's name something you can casually call out? Du Hong shouted. The bald young man's eyes lit up. Lord Commandant? His gaze swept across and locked onto Ting Qingshan. This should be Ting Qingshan, Commandant Ting. What do you want? Ting Qingshan glanced at him. Commandant Ting, I am Jiao Liang. I have heard of Commandant Ting's great name, and would like to have a match with Commandant Ting. There was a hint of arrogance on the bald young man's face. This bald man was the young master of the Vulture Gang of Shuyang County, and was also the #1 expert of the Vulture Gang. No one was a match for him in the surrounding 100 li ever since he had mastered his saber arts. This young master Jiao Liang had never lost. His heart was filled with arrogance, and he believed that there weren't many in the younger generation who could match up to him. When he heard that Ting Qingshan defeated Meng Tian, he wanted to challenge Ting Qingshan. If he defeated Ting Qingshan, he would step on Ting Qingshan's shoulders and become famous throughout the world. I don't have time. Ting Qingshan said coldly, let's go. Ting Qingshan couldn't be bothered with this kind of challenge. The soldiers of the Black Armored Corps also looked at young Master Jiao Liang with disdain. They couldn't be bothered with this kind of young man. Ting Qingshan, are you afraid? Jiao Liang shouted. Phew. The soldiers of the Black Armored Corps turned around and looked coldly at Jiao Liang's group. After all, Jiao Liang lived among the mounted bandit. Facing the bloody aura of the Black Armored Corps, he felt suffocated. If you want to challenge me, you have to be prepared to die. Ting Qingshan looked at him coldly. Do you? Jiao Liang was previously stunned by the aura of the Black Armored Corps. Now that he was questioned by Ting Qingshan, he stood rooted to the ground in a daze. Seeing this, Ting Qingshan secretly shook his head. His temperament isn't firm enough. He should be a talented person who hasn't experienced many setbacks. He's a frog in a well who thinks he's great. Ting Qingshan wasn't interested in this kind of young man. Following which, Ting Qingshan's group left. Only then did Jiao Liang react. They actually left. Young master, that Ting Qingshan must be afraid of you. One of the mounted bandits who didn't dare to make a sound immediately shouted. Coward. Jiao Liang said hatefully. Young master, that Ting Qingshan was able to defeat Meng Tian. He must be very powerful. We can't underestimate him. Another mounted bandit said. Let's go. Jiao Liang shouted. In the evening, Ting Qingshan's group had already descended the mountain. They were walking along the foot of the mountain, heading towards their original campsite. Qingshan, there are actually 3 people challenging you today. However, they look very ordinary. They were stunned by the aura of our Black Armored Corps brothers. They really overestimate themselves. Ting Qinghu sighed. Ting Qingshan also didn't know whether to laugh or cry. In this world, there were really many people who thought highly of themselves. However, the aura of the Black Armored Corps soldiers was indeed very terrifying. 20 of them standing there with a cold gaze. Their aura was even more terrifying than that of hundreds of ordinary mounted bandits. This also saved Ting Qingshan a lot of trouble. Commandant, you defeated Meng Tian. Many people in this generation of Shuyang County and Chu County know about it. Now, many people want to use you as a stepping stone. We will be here for a month or 2. On the first day, there are already 3 people challenging us. In the future, there will probably be even more trouble, Du Hong said. Ting Qingshan couldn't help but frown. Indeed, many martial artists trained hard for decades just to become famous overnight. In the next month or so, there would be a lot of trouble. I have to intimidate those people, Ting Qingshan thought to himself. Chapter 131. The blazing mountain was too big. When Ting Qingshan and the rest were returning to their accommodation, they met Ji Hong and the rest, who were also descending the mountain. Qingshan, the place where heaven and earth spiritual treasures grow, is usually very hard to find. We don't have to worry. Ji Hong said. Yes, Guan Lu and her people have returned. At this moment, they were only a few dozen zhang away from the camp. They could see the Gui Yuan sect's core disciples from afar. Commander, they are back. Prepare dinner. The 10 servants immediately brought a sumptuous meal that had already been prepared. The new table that was built this afternoon was placed on the table. More than 80 people gathered together to eat and drink. The elite disciples of the Gui Yuan sect ate really well. They could even wait for a table of good food in a good restaurant. There was also good wine. The chef sent by Yang Ta did a good job. Ji Hong praised. Ting Qingshan took a big bowl of wine and took a sip. He smiled and said, Commander, the warriors around us are very envious. Ji Hong also glanced at the warriors in the distance and smiled. Some of the warriors ate steamed buns and drank cold water. Some hunted wild animals and roasted them to eat. But how could they compare with the people of the Gui Yuan sect? Specially prepared chefs and many servants. How could the warriors not be envious? But it was useless. After eating and drinking, some of the warriors of the Gui Yuan sect entered their tents to cultivate their inner strength. Most of them sat outside and chatted. Qingshan. Ji Hong and Ting Qingshan walked together at the foot of the mountain. Did any warriors challenge you this afternoon? Yes. Ting Qingshan said helplessly. There were 3 of them. But their strength was average. I ignored them. Ji Hong said as if he expected it. He said, That's not strange. You are only 17 years old. In the eyes of many warriors, a 17-year-old can't be that powerful. Even if you defeat Meng Tian, they will think that you used some underhanded method, such as poisoning him. Ting Qingshan was stunned. In short, there must be a lot of people who don't believe that you're that strong. He wants to step on you and spread his name across the world. Ji Hong turned around and stared at Ting Qingshan. Qingshan, I order you. If anyone challenges you again, you must accept the challenge. Moreover, if you want to be ruthless, you can even kill them. Qingshan, you are not only representing yourself, but also the younger generation of the Gui Yuan sect. In the eyes of outsiders, you're the strongest among the younger generation of the Gui Yuan sect since you've defeated Meng Tian. So, you can't back down. If you want to be ruthless, then kill. If you kill a few in one go, those challengers will be afraid. When that time comes, there will be fewer people who will dare to challenge you. Ji Hong said. Ting Qingshan said, There's no need to kill them. Just let them remember it for the rest of their lives. Don't be soft-hearted. Ji Hong smiled and said, Today's innate rankers, one of the 8 major sects, the Ying family of the northwest Yongzhou, has an elder called Ying Rufan. He is very powerful. When he was young, he was ranked in the Hidden Dragon ranking. Many people challenged him, but he always stopped when it was appropriate. He rarely hurt anyone, let alone kill anyone. What happened in the end? Many people took advantage of his kindness and looked for opportunities to challenge him. Some people used him to test their sword art and saber art. Later, Ying Rufan couldn't stand it anymore and finally killed him. Only then did his days become peaceful. It made sense that people who were kind would be bullied. Brother, this wild rabbit tastes good. Let us try it. A voice came from not far away. Ji Hong looked over in surprise. Ji Hong's surprised expression aroused Ting Qingshan's curiosity. He also turned around to look. A man with a face full of stubble was sitting not far away. He was roasting a wild rabbit. The fragrance of the rabbit filled the air. Beside him stood 3 seemingly strong warriors. One of them had already reached out to grab the roasted rabbit. One-armed? Ting Qingshan could tell at a glance that the man's left arm was empty. It was obvious that he only had one arm. You guys better scram. An indifferent voice came from the man's mouth. The three warriors' faces darkened. One of them shouted, "Don't be so shameless. We brothers are giving you face by eating a wild rabbit. If you want to fight, we brothers don't mind sending you to hell." With a clang, the one-armed man pulled out the saber hanging on his waist. The three warriors couldn't help but take a step back. However, the one-armed man used the saber to cut a piece of rabbit meat. He grabbed it and ate it. Then, he nodded and cut another piece. "Playing with us?" The three warriors' faces darkened. One of them shouted, "Brothers, teach this cripple." Before he could say the word cripple, a green light flashed. Boom! A sharp whistling sound rang in the air, followed by a scream. The three warriors looked at the one-armed man in fear. One of them had a pale face. He held his right arm. There was a bloody wound on his right wrist. The tendons in his hand were broken. From the beginning to the end, the three of them didn't even see the opponent use his saber. The one-armed man slowly put the saber back into the scabbard. He said indifferently, "Scram." The three looked at each other. They knew that the opponent had shown them mercy. They hurriedly ran away. So fast. What a terrifying saber. Ting Qingshan was slightly shocked. This saber was definitely not slower than Meng Tian's Blood Moon saber. Moreover, the one-armed warrior was sitting on the ground. This posture was awkward, but the saber was still so terrifying. "I didn't expect him to be here." Ji Hong's eyes lit up. "Let's go first. He doesn't like people to disturb him." The one-armed man glanced at Ji Hong from afar. Then, he lowered his head and ate the wild rabbit meat. Ting Qingshan was even more puzzled. He accompanied Ji Hong all the way back. At the same time, he asked, "Commander, who is he?" "Thunder God Saber Wu Yu," Ji Hong said solemnly. "Thunder God Saber?" Ting Qingshan was startled. "Ranked 9th on the Earth ranking," Ji Hong added. Ting Qingshan couldn't help but be shocked. "9th? Meng Tian is only ranked 61. How strong is this Wu Yu?" Of course, Ting Qingshan could guess the difference between 61 and 9th. Or perhaps their rankings were similar and the difference wasn't too obvious. However, to be able to be in the top 10 of the Earth ranking, while Meng Tian was at the bottom, this Wu Yu was definitely stronger than Meng Tian by a lot. When Wu Yu was young, he was ranked in the Hidden Dragon ranking at the age of 18. He was once ranked in the top 10 of the Hidden Dragon ranking. Many people thought that he had a bright future. Ji Hong exclaimed in admiration. Even Zhuge Yun, Yu Song and the others weren't qualified to be ranked in the Hidden Dragon ranking. It was obvious that it wasn't that easy to enter the Hidden Dragon ranking. However, when he was 26, he led the sect into battle and lost an arm. After that, he fell silent. This silence lasted for almost 20 years. However, in the past 2 years, his fame began to increase rapidly. In 3 battles, he defeated 3 experts of the Earth ranking in succession without losing a single one. His saber arts are known for their speed. Once he uses his ultimate move, it is like a green thunderbolt. Therefore, it is called Thunder God Saber. Ji Hong exclaimed in admiration. This Thunder God saber art has never existed in the past. It is obvious that he created it himself. He is now ranked 9th in the Earth ranking. However, he has never lost a single battle. Therefore, his ranking might be able to rise further. When Ting Qingshan heard this, he felt a sense of respect for this one-armed man. To be able to be ranked in the top 10 of the Earth ranking and still be a cripple, this person's talent and perseverance could definitely be said to be terrifying. A young expert has challenged the number 1 expert of the younger generation of Tai Yi Hall, Feng Wushu. "Brothers, let's go." Excited shouts came from afar. Ting Qingshan turned his head and saw a large number of warriors running towards the west. Feng Wuxue? When Ting Qingshan was in the Guiyuan sect, he had already seen the Hidden Dragon ranking, Young Phoenix ranking and Earth ranking. That Feng Wuxue was the young expert ranked 68th in the Hidden Dragon ranking. Let's go. Feng Wuxue? Qingshan, let's go take a look. Ji Hong also laughed. Ting Qingshan and Ji Hong also hurried over. In the distance there was a large circle of about 10 zhang. There were about 1,000 people gathered around it. It was estimated that most of the warriors in the surrounding area had come over. The sound of metal clashing could be heard. Phew! Boom! Deep pits appeared on the ground as the two figures intertwined rapidly. When Ting Qingshan and Ji Hong arrived, they saw this scene. That challenger is also an expert. When Ji Hong arrived, his eyes lit up. Ting Qingshan asked, Lord Commander, which one is Feng Wuxue? The one wearing the silver robe. The other young man wearing a short shirt is the challenger. Ji Hong said. Clang! 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 More than 10 consecutive clashing sounds could be heard. At the same time, more than 10 saber lights cut through the night sky. Pooh! A stream of fresh blood splattered. The young man wearing the silver robe was thrown to the ground. There was a saber wound on his chest, and fresh blood was slowly flowing out. Immediately, a large group of experts from Tai E Hall rushed over to help check on the wound and stop the bleeding. Wuxue, how is it? An elder from Tai E Hall asked worriedly. Elder, his vital parts were not injured. A middle-aged man replied. Immediately, the 1,000 warriors who were watching the fight were in an uproar. No one had expected that a nameless young man could actually defeat the number 1 expert of the younger generation of Tai E Hall, Feng Wuxue. Feng Wuxue sat on the ground and stared coldly at the young man wearing a short shirt in the distance. He roared, What is your name? Listen up, my name is Yen Tai. The young man wearing a short shirt said in a clear voice. Ting Qingshan then realized that the young man wearing a short shirt was actually barefooted. Yen Tai, this Yen Tai is really powerful. He actually defeated Feng Wuxue. It's a pity for Feng Wuxue. If that sword was just a little faster, it would have pierced Yen Tai. However, Yen Tai's continuous attacks were really ruthless. Each strike was stronger than the previous one. In the end, Feng Wuxue couldn't withstand it. Look at that Yen Tai. He's quite young. I'm afraid that the Hidden Dragon ranking will be changed again. Many young people looked at Yen Tai enviously. After this battle, Yen Tai's name would quickly spread throughout the world. At this moment, if anyone could defeat Yen Tai, that person would be able to suppress Yen Tai. However, after witnessing Yen Tai and Feng Wuxue's terrifying strength, they didn't dare to challenge them. Hey look! The young man beside Commander Ji Hong is Ting Qingshan. He defeated Meng Tian. Not only did he defeat him, he even killed him. This Ting Qingshan's name will probably be on the next edition of the Earth ranking. There were many people present. Very quickly, someone recognized Ting Qingshan. If he can defeat Ting Qingshan and make him speechless, with so many people watching, he might be able to replace him and enter the Earth ranking. At this moment, Ting Qingshan. I am the Heavy Sword sect leader, Sima Feng. I heard that your spear art is amazing and would like to exchange pointers with you. A loud shout resounded in the air. Immediately, the thousands of warriors in the surroundings became excited. The previous battle between experts of the Hidden Dragon ranking was actually a battle between experts of the Earth ranking. Within the crowd, Ting Qingshan frowned. Qingshan, just in time. There are many people here. Make your move and shock everyone. Ji Hong, on the other hand, was a little excited. He even glanced at Tai E Hall's elder, Wei Songlong, who was not far away. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Chapter 132. Wei Songlong was an elder of Tai E Hall and was now over 100 years old. He could be considered an old acquaintance of Ji Hong. Between the two of them, one was the commander of the Guiyuan sect's Black Armored Corps, while the other was an elder of Tai E Hall. Their ages were about the same. When one was old, they would instead have the temperament of a child. The saying old child or old child was not without reason. Neither of the two were willing to concede to the other. In terms of strength, the two were about the same. In the past, Wei Songlong had been ranked in the Earth ranking once, but Ji Hong had not. This made Wei Songlong feel that he could suppress his old opponent. Now, Ji Hong's gaze made Wei Songlong furious. Your Guiyuan sect's younger generation has produced a Ting Qingshan, and you're so happy? Rumor has it that Ting Qingshan defeated Meng Tian. Who knows what the truth is? Maybe he used some underhanded method. Wei Songlong lowered his head to look at Feng Wuxue and said with concern, Wuxue, there are many experts in this world. Don't mind losing once, just win again next time. If nothing went wrong, Feng Wuxue would be the future clan leader of Tai Yi Hall. Tai Yi Hall would definitely nurture Feng Wuxue. Martial granduncle. Wuxue understood that Yen Tai's saber arts were indeed powerful. I accept my loss wholeheartedly. However, Feng Wuxue looked at the distance, at the barefooted, indifferent youth in short sleeves and said resolutely, 3 years. Within 3 years, I will definitely surpass him. Wei Songlong's face revealed a satisfied smile. Martial granduncle, who do you think will win between Ting Qingshan and Sima Feng? As Feng Wuxue spoke, he glanced at the distance. A sturdy old man with white hair on his temples was walking towards the center of the empty space. That old man wore a green robe and carried a black heavy sword on his back. Wei Songlong sneered. Sima Feng, although he is only the clan leader of a small sect, he is still over 80 years old and has immersed himself in sword arts for 60 to 70 years. Even you, Wuxue, would find it hard to win against this Sima Feng. Ting Qingshan? Just wait and see. In the dark night, torches were lit one after another, illuminating the surroundings red. Over 1,000 martial artists gathered in a circle of several dozen feet, each one of them excited. In the center of the square, there was only one person, the green-robed old man. This green-robed old man said in a loud voice, Ting Qingshan, could it be that you are afraid? As he said this, his sharp eyes stared at the nearby Ting Qingshan. Ting Qingshan, are you scared? Where's Ting Qingshan? Come out. More than 1,000 martial artists were shouting. There were too many people, and no one knew who was shouting. These martial artists were only afraid of the world falling into chaos, so they kept shouting. Chi-Chi. Ting Qingshan ignored the shouts around him and focused on connecting the two parts of the reincarnation spear. Sima Feng, you are also an old senior. You can't even wait for me to organize my weapon? Ting Qingshan's voice echoed in the night sky. At the same time, he strode towards the center of the square. Seeing Ting Qingshan walk out, the 1,000 martial artists immediately cheered. Ting Qingshan against Sima Feng. To be able to watch experts of this level fight was a kind of enjoyment. Haha, Ting Qingshan, there is no need for us to chat so much. Let's see our true abilities. Sima Feng pulled out the black heavy sword from his back. Clang! The heavy sword was unsheathed, and the sound of metal vibrating echoed. Holding the black heavy sword with one hand, Sima Feng's face became serious. His entire aura instantly fused with the heavy sword. Sima Feng stood there like a towering mountain, making it impossible for anyone to move him. Who? Holding the spear with one hand, Ting Qingshan smiled as he looked at the distant Sima Feng. That Sima Feng is one with the sword, and his aura is oppressive. The leader of a sect is indeed an expert. The barefooted youth, Yen Tai, was watching the battle from within the crowd. However, that Ting Qingshan looks very ordinary. I don't feel that there is anything special about him. And in a while, we will know. If he relied on his own strength to defeat Meng Tian, then the battle between him and Sima Feng will be very exciting. Sir Commandant, ruthlessly beat up that old fellow, Du Hong shouted. Qingshan, let him know how powerful you are. Ting Qinghu also shouted excitedly. The group of people from the Guiyuan sect had arrived long ago. At this moment, they were all cheering for Ting Qingshan. As for that Commander Guan, he was coldly watching the battle that was about to begin. Among so many martial artists there were also many experts. Each and every one of them were watching seriously. The 1,000 people suddenly became silent. Sima Feng's eyes suddenly narrowed. Holding the heavy sword with one hand, he walked towards Ting Qingshan step by step. With every step he took, Sima Feng's aura rose. Cousin, look clearly. This is the true meaning of inflamed fire and flashing chestnuts in fire. Ting Qingshan suddenly said in a clear voice. As soon as these words came out, it immediately caused an uproar. What was Ting Qingshan trying to do? This battle? Could it be that Ting Qingshan wanted to use this battle to teach his cousin? Qingshan, beat him up! Ting Qinghu shouted. In the open field, Sima Feng's state of mind was not affected by Ting Qingshan's words. When Sima Feng was 3 feet away from Ting Qingshan, he fiercely stamped on the ground. The aura that he had been accumulating for a long time suddenly erupted. It was as if a fierce tiger had suddenly pounced towards Ting Qingshan. That black heavy sword carried a strange sharp whistling sound, as if a ghost was screaming. The heavy sword instantly fell towards Ting Qingshan's head. Clang! Without a sound, the reincarnation spear in Ting Qingshan's hand was like a poisonous needle. It silently and fiercely darted forward. The speed was fast and the movement was small. Sima Feng had no time to react. 5 techniques of the ardent flame, flashing chestnuts in the fire. That Ting Qingshan actually reached the minute subtlety realm? Thunder God Blade Wuyu, who was originally holding the roasted rabbit meat in one hand, was casually watching the battle. However, after seeing this spear, he was shocked. He carefully stared at Ting Qingshan. That's right, it's the minute subtlety realm. The control of his inner strength is smooth and smooth, without a trace of wastage. However, this minute subtlety realm, what level has he reached? I have to seriously observe. But at such a young age, he should have reached the initial stage of the minute subtlety realm. Although Wu Yu was still eating the roasted rabbit meat, his gaze was completely fixed on the 2 figures in the open field. The minute subtlety realm. Even in the entire 9 prefectures, there were very, very few Hotian martial artists who had reached this level. The reason why martial artists were powerful was because of the inner strength within their bodies. And to be able to control the inner strength to the point where it was smooth and smooth, like moving one's arm, without a trace of wastage, one could use the inner strength to control weapons to carry out extremely exquisite attacks. This was the minute subtlety realm. This represented a type of control over inner strength. Ting Qingshan? Ting Qingshan's inner strength had not reached the minute subtlety realm. His use of inner strength was very crude. However, at this moment, he was using the spear art and not inner strength. What he was using was the strength of his body's muscles. Ting Qingshan's control over the strength of his body could be said to be precise to the peak. Muscles, tendons, bones, and even the flow of blood, Ting Qingshan was able to control them all. Absolute control. After being hit by the flashing fire move, the heavy sword couldn't help but tilt. However, Sima Feng's body turned, and borrowing the force of the rotation, the heavy sword in his hand slashed diagonally. Boom! The heavy sword once again brought along a strange, sharp whistling sound. The reincarnation spear in Ting Qingshan's hand was like a venomous snake coming out of its hole, fiercely darting out. The moment it touched the heavy sword, the power in Ting Qingshan's hand instantly exploded. The reincarnation spear's shaft suddenly bent slightly, and then the power in Ting Qingshan's hand changed again in an instant. The completely opposite power caused the accumulated energy of the reincarnation spear to increase by another level. Boom! The spearhead of Ting Qingshan's reincarnation spear fiercely rebounded. Pung! The spearhead smashed into the heavy sword at close range. Sima Feng felt his hand go numb, and involuntarily retreated 3 steps. He couldn't help but look at Ting Qingshan in shock, and then immediately laughed heartily. Good spear art! Just now, you said 2 moves, one was flashing fire, and the other was pouring oil on fire. Just now, that was pouring oil on fire. The power that erupted in that instant, even I was caught unprepared. This is just the beginning. Ting Qingshan smiled and stamped his feet. Who? His entire body was like an arrow that had left the bow, rushing towards Sima Feng. The long spear in his hand transformed into black lightning, piercing towards Sima Feng's chest. Clang! Sima Feng directly chopped down again, and at the same time shouted in a clear voice, 9 collapsing mountain swords. Ha! Ting Qingshan laughed heartily, and the reincarnation spear in his hand, flashing fire, was like a scorpion's poisonous needle lightly pricking, causing the direction of the heavy sword to change, causing the concept of Sima Feng's 9 collapsing mountain swords to be affected. Soon after, Ting Qingshan vigorously used pouring oil on fire. On the spacious field, Sima Feng's sword intent became even more ferocious, and his entire person was no longer as calm as before. Instead, he became somewhat manic, and his face began to flush red. Because Ting Qingshan actually relied on the 2 moves of flashing fire and pouring oil on fire to completely restrain him. Sima Feng's movement speed could not be considered fast, but Ting Qingshan's feet were nimble, and he wantonly executed his spear art around Sima Feng. Ting Qingshan's flashing fire was like a poisonous snake biting someone, and the pouring oil on fire spearhead that would instantly erupt with power was like a poisonous dragon. Sometimes it was ferocious, sometimes it was sinister and strange. This concept. Ting Qingshan used these 2 moves in a crisscrossed manner, and while constantly dealing with Sima Feng, he actually experienced the concept of alternating yin and yang when he was practicing the 3 postures. These 2 moves should be like this. In Ting Qingshan's hands, the 2 spear arts slowly changed. Flashing fire became increasingly feminine. Pouring oil on fire became increasingly ferocious. The 2 moves were linked together as if they were made by heaven. Gradually, flashing fire was only displayed halfway when it suddenly changed into pouring oil on fire. Feminine and ferocious, the 2 concepts could instantly alternate. Sima Feng seemed to have gone crazy. He was about to be tormented to the point of insanity. What kind of stupid spear art is this? One moment it's feminine, and the next moment it's ferocious and explosive. Sima Feng felt that when he brandished his heavy sword, he had originally thought that Ting Qingshan would use flashing fire, and he had already made preparations to continue attacking. But suddenly, yin and yang alternated, and the feminine move suddenly became ferocious. Being caught unprepared, Sima Feng was of course injured. These 2 moves in the hands of Ting Qingshan were already alive. Just these 2 moves could almost be said to have fused into one move. This made Sima Feng feel so uncomfortable that he wanted to vomit blood. He had never experienced such an awkward feeling before. Clang! The heavy sword in Sima Feng's hand left his hand, and a spear shadow struck his body. Only the sound of bones breaking could be heard, and Sima Feng's entire body was thrown into the air. Among the thousands of martial artists, there was a silver-haired gray-robed old man. His gaze was like a poisonous snake as he stared at Ting Qingshan. This concept, the last time that old fellow Wei Wuya chased after me, his concept was very similar to this move. Although the concept of this young man's move is still very vague, and is not as good as Wei Wuya's, but he is only 17 years old. Should I kill him and make the Guiyuan sect lose this genius, or should I snatch him over and make him my disciple? Chapter 133. He was only 17 years old, yet he had such frightening strength. He walks the path of the spear, but I know how to use the blade. How can I teach him? In terms of spear techniques, I'm afraid I'm not as good as him. Although he's only in the post-liminary realm, he's not too far off from me in terms of concept. There's no way I can teach him. Furthermore, I already have a precious disciple. There's no need to kill him? If I kill him now, that Zhuge Yuanhong will definitely be furious and come here personally. If he finds out that I'm the one who killed him, then it'll be troublesome. The old man was still fearful of Zhuge Yuanhong. Even if he doesn't find out, once he comes, it'll be hard for me to get the black fire spirit fruit. The important matter is more important. After I get the black fire spirit fruit, I'll kill this Ting Qingshan. I'll destroy the corpse and erase the evidence. Zhuge Yuanhong definitely won't be able to find out. Zhuge Yuanhong, who asked you to help Wei Wuya? Don't blame me this time. The silver-haired old man had a plan in his heart and smiled as he watched the battle. At this moment, the surroundings were filled with cheers. Everyone was praising Ting Qingshan. Ting Qingshan had indeed fought beautifully just now. When he used his spear, it was like an obedient swimming dragon. At times it was strange and swift, and at other times it was violent and ferocious. With just this dancing spear, he had beaten the heavy sword sect leader, Sima Feng, to the point where he couldn't get up. Brother Wang, you've been famous for decades, why don't you go and challenge him? If you win, you'll be famous all over the world. A lean man beside the silver-haired old man laughed. That's right, Brother Wang, you're still one of the top experts in our Fanwu city. Someone beside him mocked. The silver-haired old man shook his head and laughed. Don't you guys know my little strength? Competing with an expert of the Earth ranking? Are you tired of living? The surrounding martial artists also laughed. Everyone was also joking about this Wang Yun. Wang Yun was a martial artist with decent strength from Fanwu City of Shuyang County. He could be considered to have reached the peak of the post-liminary realm. The silver-haired gray-robed old man was teased, but he still had a smile on his face. However, a cold light flashed in his eyes, revealing the ruthlessness in his heart. Among the thousands of martial artists, many of them shouted loudly. Ting Qingshan is indeed powerful. He defeated Sima Feng so easily. Ting Qingshan is indeed an expert of the Earth ranking. Many cultivators with average strength were the most noisy. Previously, they had mocked Ting Qingshan, but now they were praising him with all their might. Actually, the new issue of the earthly ranking had not been published yet. It was impossible to confirm whether the Wanxiang sect would really include Ting Qingshan in the new issue of the earthly ranking. However, many martial artists were like this. They were like rain when they saw the wind. They only wished for the world to be in chaos. Sect leader. Sect leader. Many people surrounded Sima Feng. Sima Feng was sitting cross-legged on the ground, using his internal strength to control his injuries. After a while, he opened his eyes and stood up with difficulty with the help of his disciples. He looked at Ting Qingshan from afar. Although he was unwilling, he still said in a clear voice, "Commandant Ting, you are indeed an expert of the earthly ranking who defeated Meng Tian. Your spear art has already reached the neutral Jing stage. I, Sima Feng, am ashamed of my inferiority." Cough. Speaking loudly had caused his internal injuries. Sima Feng could not help but cough up blood. This scene caused many warriors to be secretly shocked. Ting Qingshan's previous spear attack had actually injured Sima Feng to this extent. "Thank you, Commandant Ting, for being merciful." Sima Feng cupped his hands and left with the help of his disciples. Being merciful? Indeed, Ting Qingshan had been merciful. The heavy sword in Sima Feng's hand had been sent flying. In a situation where he was unable to block it, he had used the move Inflamed Fire to smash his opponent's body. Even if it was a strength of tens of thousands of Jin, it would still be enough to smash Sima Feng to death. At the last moment, Ting Qingshan had stopped using his spear technique. He had only broken one or two of his opponent's ribs and injured his internal organs. Although he would need to recuperate for a year and a half, at least his life was saved. Defeating Ting Qingshan would allow him to enter the earthly ranking. Yen Tai, you were able to defeat Feng Wuxue. Maybe you can also defeat Ting Qingshan. Someone shouted loudly. Yen Tai, who was in the crowd, frowned and swept his gaze over. However, there were too many people around. Especially some of the taller ones, they completely blocked his line of sight. He could not see who was shouting at all. Humph. Yen Tai coldly snorted but did not go up. Yen Tai stared at the distant Ting Qingshan. What a powerful spear art! Although I could use all my strength to block these two moves. However, the words that Ting Qingshan had said before the battle were obviously to demonstrate his moves for his cousin. This fellow, could it be that he was really hiding his strength? Yen Tai did not dare to make a move. Just the strength that Ting Qingshan had revealed was enough to give Yen Tai a headache. Looks like I have underestimated the experts in the world. There are many experts here. Let's wait and see. Once the matters here are settled, I will return to Yuzhou and look for Master. After wandering around for 8 years, it's time to return. Yen Tai thought to himself. Ting Qingshan stood in the spacious area for a while. Seeing that no one was challenging him, he then walked back into the crowd. Seeing that no one was challenging him, the thousands of warriors who were originally spectating dispersed one by one. Thunder Godblade Wu Yu looked at the back of Ting Qingshan as he left. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. What a powerful spear art! Just by looking at one spot, one can know the whole body. This Ting Qingshan definitely did not use his strongest spear art. He definitely has the strength to kill Meng Tian. This time, he will be a strong opponent in the fight for the Black Fire Spirit Fruit. However, I have honed my saber art for so many years. I don't believe that a 17-year-old kid can withstand it. Wu Yu was very confident. The crowd dispersed and returned to their respective places. However, everyone was still discussing the 2 previous matches in 2s and 3s. Each and every one of them was amazed. At the Gui Yuan sect's encampment, Brother Qinghu, the 2 moves that Commandant Ting used were the same moves that you used during the Centurion competition? A few black armored corps sergeants surrounded them. Yes. Ting Qinghu's eyes lit up. Pulling chestnuts from the fire and adding oil to fire are 2 of the simpler moves that Qingshan taught me. I didn't expect that these 2 moves would be so powerful in Qingshan's hands. If these 2 moves of mine were half as powerful as Qingshan's, I would be able to obtain first place in the Centurion competition. Keep bragging. The surrounding people laughed. However, why is it that the power of the same move is so much weaker? Ting Qinghu muttered. That night, Ting Qinghu practiced his spear art for most of the night. The spear art that Ting Qingshan had displayed previously had greatly inspired him. The night was silent. Ting Qingshan sat on the weeds and leaned against a big tree behind him. He was at the edge of the Great Yen Mountain. If he looked down, he would be able to see the Gui Yuan sect's tents. Adding oil to fire and pulling chestnuts from the fire. The concepts of these 2 moves are completely opposite, yet they can be combined. This 5 techniques of the ardent flame. Ting Qingshan closed his eyes and tried to simulate the fusion in his mind. As he thought, Ting Qingshan stood up and began to practice, constantly changing his moves. Ting Qingshan wanted to combine the 5 techniques of the ardent flame with the concept of the cannon fist and combine them into one move. This move would also be the 4th move of the 5 elements spear art. Ting Qingshan had been pondering over how to transform the cannon fist into a spear art for a few years, but he had never succeeded. The 5 techniques of the ardent flame was an opportunity. Among the 5 techniques of the ardent flame, the most difficult moves to combine were the completely opposite concepts of adding oil to fire and pulling chestnuts from the fire. These 2 moves could be combined. When Ting Qingshan combined these 5 moves, his progress immediately became faster. This night, Ting Qingshan was completely immersed in the spear art and didn't feel the passing of time. Until the next morning, Ting Qingshan didn't feel sleepy at all. He had some doubts in his heart. Which direction should I choose for the fourth move of the 5 elements spear art? In the process of combining the spear art, some useless moves must be discarded and the essence must be combined to completely express the concept of the fire attribute spear art. But, which are the essences? If I use Prairie Fire and Silver Flower of the Flame as the main body and combine it with the Cannon Fist, it should be a group attack move. If I use Legacy of the Ultimate Flame as the main body, then I can combine it with the concept of Tiger Cannon Fist and create the strongest single-target attack move. Ting Qingshan was very clear. There were 2 paths, one was a group attack, the other was a single-target attack. Tiger Cannon Fist was his strongest fist art in his previous life. It had the possibility of combining with the concept of Legacy of the Ultimate Flame. Ting Qingshan had a premonition. Once he chose a single target attack move, then the difficulty of creating this move would be 10 times or even 100 times harder than creating a group attack move. However, this move, in his imagination, would surpass Toxic Dragon Drill and become the most powerful move among the 4 spear arts. Group attack? My Pursuing Shadow move can be a single target attack or a group attack. The power of the Toxic Dragon Drill is also very strong. Right now, I don't need a powerful group attack move. Forget it, I should be more patient and spend more effort. Since I've been pondering for so many years, there's no rush to wait a few more years. Ting Qingshan decided to put his heart and soul into researching and creating the 4th move of the 5 elemental spear arts, a spear art with the fire attribute. This would be the most terrifying move among the 4 moves, and also the move that would take the most time. Ting Qingshan descended the mountain and returned to the camp. Qingshan, you entered the mountain for morning training this early? Ji Hong had just come out of the tent. Ting Qingshan smiled and nodded. At this time, Commander Guan Lu also walked out of the tent. She glanced at Ting Qingshan and her expression changed slightly. However, she quickly recovered her indifference and walked past Ting Qingshan. At the same time, her voice rang out, "Commandant Ting, don't forget our agreement. Once this matter is over, if you aren't afraid of getting injured, let's have a good match." After saying this, Guan Lu walked away. Ting Qingshan couldn't help but be startled. In the following days, the Gui Yuan sect still divided into 3 teams and searched the entire Blazing Mountain. However, the mountain range was too vast. As time passed, more and more warriors came. Putting so many warriors in the mountain was just a drop in the ocean. Soon, the men of Yangzhou's No. 1 sect, Qinghu Island, arrived. Qingzhou's No. 1 sect, Xiao Yao Palace, also sent a team of over 100 people. A large number of warriors, whether famous or not, also arrived. Within a month, the number of warriors gathered around the Blazing Mountain had already exceeded 10,000. Every night, the warriors would return to the foot of the mountain. With over 10,000 warriors, of course there would be many conflict. Sparring, revenge killings, and so on were common occurrences. Chapter 134. Night. It had been a month and 3 days since they arrived at the Blazing Mountain. Tens of thousands of warriors gathered at the foot of the mountain, causing the foot of the Blazing Mountain to be filled with tents and torches. At this moment, Ting Qingshan, Guan Lu, and Ji Hong were discussing in the tent. More and more experts are coming. Ji Hong frowned and said, "Just the experts from the Earth ranking alone, I know 6 of them. There are more than 10 experts from the Hidden Dragon ranking and the Young Phoenix ranking. Although many of the experts are not from the Earth ranking, the difference in strength is not too great. Qingshan, Guan Lu, we're in trouble now." Trouble indeed. Currently, the 2 sects with the strongest aura were Qinghu Island and Xiao Yao Palace. These two sects were among the 8 supreme sects of the 9 prefectures. Compared to these two sects, the Guiyuan sect was much weaker. Guan Lu frowned. Martial Granduncle, Qing Hu Island and Xiao Yao Palace have sent many experts, but they are all in the open. What I'm most worried about is the hidden experts. After all, there are already tens of thousands of warriors gathered here. Xiao Yao Palace and Qing Hu Island only have over 100 people each. Who knows if there are some super experts hidden in the crowd? Ji Hong nodded. Lord Commander, will the black fire spirit fruit attract innate experts? Ting Qingshan suddenly asked. Innate experts? Ji Hong was startled. He smiled and shook his head. The black fire spirit fruit is useless to innate experts. Besides, did Xiao Yao Palace and Qing Hu Island send any innate experts? There are too few innate experts in this world. All of them care about the reputation of innate expert. If an innate expert comes, we will just give it to him. Would he have the face to take it? If an innate expert wants the spirit fruit, wouldn't it be easier to find it in the desolate land? There are few people in the desolate land, but there are many treasures. If you have the ability, you can enter the desolate land, Ji Hong said. Ting Qingshan somewhat understood. The desolate land was a forbidden area for ordinary warriors, but it was nothing for innate experts. Perhaps only monsters like demonic beasts could threaten innate experts. Of course, Ting Qingshan, a human whose arms weighed 180,000 jin, could also be considered a humanoid monster. 1 month and 3 days. Ting Qingshan frowned. The black fire spirit fruit should be ripe soon. Yes, Ji Hong said worriedly. After such a long time, the red-scaled beast should be 6 zhang tall. He estimated that the black fire spirit fruit would mature in at most 10 to 15 days. Up until now, no one has discovered the location of the black fire spirit fruit. Once the red-scaled beast eats the black fire spirit fruit and transforms, it will definitely be able to massacre us. After the transformation of the red-scaled beast, even an innate rancor would find it hard to break through its scales. At that time, the red-scaled beast was a truly terrifying demonic beast. Martial Granduncle, I reckon that even if someone finds the location, they will keep it a secret and not spread it, said Guan Lu. Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong, and Guan Lu had no choice but to wait. If there was a chance, they would snatch it. If there wasn't, they could only endure. Black Fire Spirit Root. Ting Qingshan yearned for the Black Fire Spirit Root very much. It was a chance for him to strengthen his body. Just as the 3 of them were chatting, someone is challenging Gu Shiyu. Brothers, hurry up. The voice of the black armored corps soldiers sounded from outside. This caused Ting Qingshan and the other 2 to immediately leave the tent. They saw a group of people gathering in the west. At a glance, there were at least a few thousand people. More than half of the warriors from the Blazing Mountain had rushed over. Let's go. Ji Hong was looking forward to it. Gu Shiyu. Guan Lu's eyes lit up. Ji Hong glanced at Ting Qingshan and laughed. Qingshan, this Gu Shiyu should be the only expert amongst the younger generation in the entire 9 prefectures who can compete with you. You should take a good look at the challengers this time. I haven't seen him fight yet. Ting Qingshan was curious. This Gu Shiyu was the young island lord of Yangzhou's No. 1 sect, Qing Hu Island. He was 28 years old and ranked 1st in the Hidden Dragon ranking and 48th in the Earth ranking. He could be said to be the No. 1 figure amongst the younger generation in the entire 9 prefectures. In the entire 9 prefectures, there were many young people who admired him and set him as their goal. Ranked on both lists, Ting Qingshan and the group of people from the Guiyuan sect quickly squeezed out a large space. Normally, warriors would automatically step aside when they saw the people from the Guiyuan sect, and Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong, and Guan Lu naturally stood at the front, where they could see the most clearly. Ting Qingshan could tell with a glance that in the center of the 10 zhang wide open space, there was a cold man dressed in green, holding a long black spear. He was the current first in the Hidden Dragon ranking, the young island lord of Qinghu Island, Gu Xiu. And his opponent was a middle-aged man who used a long rod. Phew! 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 The shadow of the rod swept towards Gu Xiu like a raging wave. Gu Xiu stood in the same place, the long black spear in his hand instantly transforming into 10 black shadows, each of which blocked a rod shadow. Ha! The middle-aged man suddenly leaped up, holding the rod with both hands. With a terrifying aura that could split the heavens and the earth, he suddenly hacked down from the sky. What a powerful move! Ting Qingshan praised in his heart. Bang! A 1 zhang deep and several zhang wide pit appeared on the ground. Dirt and gravel flew everywhere, and Gu Xiu had already dodged to the side. 13 rods of furious sea. The middle-aged man shouted. Each rod was faster and heavier than the previous one. Commander, who is this middle-aged man? Such powerful and domineering rod technique. Ting Qingshan was slightly surprised. He originally thought that Gu Xiu would easily win this battle, but who would have thought that this challenger could actually suppress Gu Xiu? It was indeed rare. I don't know this person either, Ji Hong said doubtfully. Then Ji Hong sighed. In this world, some hard-working experts like that Wu Yu would bury their heads for 20 years. With this eruption of power, they were able to rank in the top 10 of the Earth ranking. This middle-aged man who uses a long rod should also be an expert who has been training for many years. Ting Qingshan secretly praised. Many ascetic cultivators would choose a large occasion to fight in public, making their name known to the world in one fell swoop. Bang! Another heavy rod hit. Gu Xiu could not help but retreat more than 10 steps. He looked in shock at the plainly dressed middle-aged man in front of him who looked like a mountain villager. Where did this expert come from? Gu Xiu was very puzzled. He was ranked first on the Hidden Dragon ranking and 48th on the Earth ranking. Naturally, there were many people who challenged him. He was also happy to accept the challenge. However, whenever he took action, his opponent would definitely be severely injured, crippled, or even killed. Of course, there were even more experts who were not afraid of death, who came to challenge him for fame and fortune. Today, this middle-aged man was one of them. However, the other party seemed to be stronger than him. From the beginning, the middle-aged man had completely taken the initiative. Each rod was more frightening than the previous one. That overbearing aura completely suppressed Gu Xiu. Bang! After forcefully blocking another rod, Gu Xiu could not help but fly up. After landing on the ground, he retreated a few steps and shouted, "Stop!" The middle-aged man with a sallow complexion held the long rod and looked at Gu Xiu. "I admit defeat for this battle," Gu Xiu said calmly. The surrounding people immediately went into an uproar. The middle-aged man smiled and said, "Young Island Master's spear art is also very good. Up until now, I have not been able to injure young Island Master." Gu Xiu smiled and said, "Up until now, I still do not know your name." "I am Hua Qizhu." The middle-aged man smiled and said. This sentence was especially loud. The surrounding warriors immediately began to discuss among themselves. When this Hua Qizhu was mentioned, to be able to make Gu Xiu directly admit defeat, there was no doubt that this Hua Qizhu was strong. It seemed that there was going to be another expert on the Earth ranking. Gu Xiu smiled and then walked back to his camp. "Young Island Master." Those people surrounded him. Let's go back," Gu Xiu instructed. Gu Xiu then looked down at his palms. His palms were red and beads of blood seeped out. "What a terrifying rod technique," Gu Xiu secretly exclaimed. He knew that if he did not admit defeat, his long spear would be directly sent flying the next time. Now, his hands were already numb from the pain. Another new expert had emerged and defeated an expert of the Earth ranking. This caused the surrounding warriors to be very excited. The name of Hua Qizhu would soon spread throughout the world. Many warriors were also envious of Hua Qizhu. At the same time, they also hoped that one day they could also be like him. To be able to spread his name throughout the world, they would be willing to die. The next morning, Ting Qingshan led his subordinates to carefully search the blazing mountain. That Hua Qiju's rod technique is really domineering, and from the looks of it, he has not displayed his full strength. Ting Qingshan secretly exclaimed as he walked. He already had the thought of fighting with Hua Qiju. That Gu Shiyu, although he fought with all his might, he should still have some life-saving skills that he did not use. And with close to 10,000 warriors watching, he did not feel embarrassed at all when he admitted defeat. This person, his future is limitless. Looking up at the sky, it was already getting late. There was still about 2 hours until noon. Qingshan, we have been searching for so long. Where is that red-scaled beast hiding? Tens of thousands of people have been searching, but we still can't find it. We can't even find the black fire spirit fruit. Ting Qinghu said helplessly. Ting Qingshan also frowned as he pondered. Suddenly, Ting Qingshan recalled the first time he had chased after the adolescent red-scaled beast. The adolescent red-scaled beast had climbed up a tall mountain and then jumped down from the cliff. That's not right. Ting Qingshan's heart skipped a beat. When I chased after the adolescent red-scaled beast, it felt that it was in danger. It would definitely choose a safe path to run away. There are many mountain peaks in the surroundings, why did it specifically choose that one? Moreover, after it jumped down, I followed closely behind. I was only a few seconds slower, so why couldn't I find it? Could it be that there's something special about that canyon? Follow me, Ting Qingshan commanded and immediately rushed towards the canyon. In the canyon, this black fire spirit fruit is hidden really mysteriously. The entrance is actually in this place. Who would have thought that? A skinny man climbed out from the other side of the canyon, which was covered by vines. There was actually a cave hidden under the vines. The skinny man's face was full of pride. Now, he was the only one who knew where the black fire spirit fruit was hidden. Humph, as long as I don't tell anyone and keep an eye on it every day, the black fire spirit fruit will be mine. Although my strength is weak, even if I can't snatch the red-scaled beast, at least I can still eat the black fire spirit root. At that time, I will also be a first-rated warrior. The skinny man was very proud. However, his expression suddenly changed. He stared blankly at a group of people in the distance. The leader was a man in black who was holding a long spear and was staring at him. Chapter 135. The lean man looked at his opponent's attire and his expression changed. It's the Gui Yuan sect's people. Currently, at the foot of the blazing mountain, the men from the big sects were all wearing the same attire, so it was easy to recognize them. When encountering these men from the big sects, the ordinary warriors would choose to avoid them. If I go down now, I will definitely be caught by them. With my strength, I can't escape from the Gui Yuan sect. There's no other way. The lean man raised his head and gritted his teeth. He grabbed the vines and quickly climbed up. After all, he was also a warrior, so his climbing speed was very fast. If he jumped down, he would definitely be caught. Should he escape into the cave under the vines? Once the other party entered the cave, they would quickly catch up. If he was fast enough, he could climb to the top of the cliff first. There was still hope. Ting Qingshan stood at the foot of the mountain and looked up at the lean man who was climbing up the cliff. "Commandant, are we not going to chase?" Du Hong asked anxiously. Ting Qingshan smiled and picked up 2 broken stones from the ground. He then looked at the lean man who was climbing up the cliff. Without the vines, it was difficult for him to climb. He casually threw a stone in his hand. The stone flew across the sky like a meteor and accurately hit the lean man's right arm. Ah! The lean man's right hand that was grabbing the rock loosened and he cried out in pain. He lost his center of gravity and fell down uncontrollably. This was a height of more than 10 feet. If he jumped down, he would at most have a broken leg. However, this lean man had lost his center of gravity and fell backward. Even a first-rated warrior would fall to his death. Whoosh! Ting Qingshan turned into a gust of wind. Facing the body that was falling down like a cannonball, he stretched out his hand. A height of more than 10 feet was about 40 meters. It was equivalent to the height of a 10-story building in Ting Qingshan's previous world. If a first-rated warrior were to fall from such a height, the impact would probably break his arm. Ting Qingshan's right hand supported the lean man's body and deflected 90% of the impact. He then withdrew his hand and let the lean man fall. Pung! After neutralizing 90% of the impact, the lean man fell to the ground and only felt his chest tighten. He wasn't seriously injured. In fact, Ting Qingshan could take the impact with just one arm, but if Ting Qingshan took it, Ting Qingshan would be fine, but the lean man would probably be shaken to death. He could only use such gentle methods. I know the secret of the black fire spirit fruit. He saved me now because he doesn't know the situation in the cave and wants me to lead the way. Once they found the black fire spirit fruit, they will definitely kill me to silence me. They will definitely not let me leave freely. They want to monopolize the black fire spirit fruit. The lean man was not a fool, he was also a veteran of the underworld. He understood that the reaction of anyone who discovered the black fire spirit fruit was to monopolize it. As he fell to the ground, he suddenly waved his hand, and a cold light pierced towards Ting Qingshan's chest at close range. Then, he pushed himself up with both hands, and with a whoosh, he flew into the distance. Clang! Ting Qingshan flicked his finger, and the dagger flew away. Looking at the lean man running away, Ting Qingshan threw the other stone in his hand. The lean man's right leg bent involuntarily, and he fell to the ground on his buttocks. If you try to escape again, I will kill you. A cold voice rang in his ears. The lean man, who had originally wanted to escape, felt a wave of despair. He understood that since he didn't manage to escape from the surprise attack just now, it was even more impossible for him to escape now. He wasn't a person who was courting death. Rubbing his right leg, the lean man stood up and turned to look at Ting Qingshan. He squeezed out a smile and said, "Heroes of the Guiyuan sect, you guys. Is there a black fire spirit fruit in that cave?" Ting Qingshan asked directly. The lean man was stunned. Ting Qingshan had guessed correctly. Yes. The lean man nodded. At this moment Du Hong, Ting Qinghu, and a group of people had also rushed over. They were overjoyed when they heard this. Qingshan, you guessed correctly. The black fire spirit fruit is actually in this canyon. We were just running around randomly, Ting Qinghu said. Ting Qingshan revealed a smile on his face. He had only made a random guess based on the location where the adolescent red-scaled beast had escaped to. Immediately, Ting Qingshan instructed, "Qinghu, old Du, follow me into the cave. The rest of you stay in the surroundings and pretend to search for the black fire spirit fruit. Wait for us to come out." "Yes, Commandant." The group of people lowered their voices. The lean man looked at Ting Qingshan in fear. "Yes, this person is Ting Qingshan of the Guiyuan sect, Commandant Ting. That day, he competed with Sima Feng. No wonder he could easily catch me when I fell from a height of 16 to 17 zhang. He could easily block my sneak attack at such a close distance." Knowing the other party's identity, the lean man did not dare to resist. Ting Qingshan surveyed the surroundings. There was no one around the canyon. The canyon itself was rather secluded. Even if there were people who came to search, it would be very few. If those people couldn't find anything, they would usually not search again. "Let's enter the cave," Ting Qingshan said. Immediately, Ting Qingshan grabbed the lean man's clothes with his left hand and leaped up. He was already 70 to 80 zhang high. His right hand casually grabbed a protruding rock and used the force to fly up again. Then, he tapped the ground with his feet and flew directly to the entrance of the cave. He lifted the vines and entered the cave. Ting Qinghu and Du Hong used both their hands and feet to climb up quickly. Both of them were first-rated warriors and climbed a few rocks. Within a few breaths, they had entered the cave. Ting Qingshan placed the vines back in place and covered the entrance of the cave. The passageway of the cave was rather dark. However, the height of the passageway was more than 1 zhang, so there was no need to bend down. You lead the way, Ting Qingshan instructed indifferently. Du Hong, who was beside him, shouted at the lean man, "Brat, if you continue to play tricks and Lord Commandant does not act, I will stab you to death with my spear." At this moment, Du Hong and the rest took out their spears from their backs. Ting Qingshan also took out his spear from his back and held it in his hands. Inside the cave, everything was unknown. It was better to be careful. Sirs, rest assured. In front of Commandant Ting, even if I had 10 guts, I would not dare to escape again. The lean man said respectfully. Commandant Ting, sirs, I will lead the way. As he spoke, the lean man walked towards the depths of the cave. Although he said this, the lean man was very anxious in his heart. Which one of these large sects is merciful? I am still useful now, but when they see the black fire spirit fruit, I am afraid that they will kill me to silence me. I must find a good opportunity. Although he was afraid of Ting Qingshan, he was more afraid of being killed to silence him. While he was thinking about how he could escape, he said happily, Commandant Ting, this passageway is not very long. There is a big crack in front of us. Crack? Ting Qingshan felt that he had walked for about 100 meters before he saw a big crack. The crack was about 1 zhang wide, and the inside of the crack was pitch black and unfathomably deep. However, there was a faint fiery aura spreading out from the crack. Du Hong shouted, Brat, how did you get down there? The lean man said, Sirs, this crack is at least 100 zhang deep. Anyone who falls in will definitely die. I spent half a night running to the other side of the cliff and specially gathered some strong vines. I then tied a very long rope. It is over there. As he spoke, he pointed to a place not far away. There was indeed a thick and strong vine. I will go down first, Ting Qingshan said and looked at the lean man. You will be next. Qinghu, old Du, follow behind. Ting Qingshan was worried that the lean man would play some tricks. Let's go. Ting Qingshan once again carried the reincarnation spear on his back and leaped down. His feet touched the cliff and he grabbed the vine, descending rapidly. Hurry up! Du Hong shouted at the lean man. The lean man hurriedly followed after him. As they descended, Ting Qingshan realized that the depths of the crack were getting darker. Even with my eyesight, I can only see about 5 to 6 meters. If it was an ordinary first-rated warrior, he would probably only be able to see his own hand. Ting Qingshan also felt a fiery sulfuric aura rushing towards him. It was getting denser. As they descended, the temperature continued to rise and the sulfuric aura became denser. Pooh! Ting Qingshan finally landed on the ground. Yes, about 100 zhang. According to the height of the cave, the place where I am now should be 800 to 900 zhang deeper than the bottom of the canyon. After a while, the lean man, Du Hong, and Ting Qinghu reached the bottom. Lead the way, Ting Qingshan said. The lean man walked in the front and said at the same time, Commandant Ting, this is the depths of the ground. It is extremely hot. A red light gradually appeared in front of them. Even though it was a weak light, Ting Qingshan could see a distance of 10 meters clearly. He could only see a blurry light red fog in front of him. Red. Du Hong was slightly surprised. Commandant Ting, that is actually water vapor. The lean man said. Water vapor should be white fog. Who are you trying to fool? Are you trying to play tricks? Ting Qinghu shouted. The lean man hastily said in fear, Sirs, I don't dare to fool you. This is really white fog. It is because it is too hot that there is water vapor here. Ting Qingshan also realized that the temperature was getting hotter. Although the canyon was considered hot, it was not ridiculously hot. But now it was somewhat exaggerated. Following the lean man, Ting Qingshan and the other two stepped into the red fog. As soon as Ting Qingshan got closer, he was sure that it was indeed ordinary water vapor. Gradually, Ting Qingshan heard the gurgle sound. It was like the sound of water boiling. Ting Qingshan put his right hand on the lean man's shoulder and followed. This Ting Qingshan is really cautious. The lean man felt the hand on his shoulder and said, "This place is the best place to escape," but their original plan was to escape from this place. But there was no other way. Continue walking. After walking for about 10 zhang, the fog became thinner and the gurgle sound became clearer. Finally, Ting Qingshan and the others walked out of the foggy area. This is... Ting Qinghu and Du Hong were dumbfounded. The lean man hastily said, "This should be the fire magma recorded in the books." Ting Qingshan looked at the red-hot magma in front of him. The magma flowed slowly, and at the same time, it would occasionally bubble. That terrifying temperature even caused Du Hong and the others to activate the inner strength in their bodies. Magma. Ting Qingshan knew what it was. The magma layer should be very deep underground. I didn't expect that there would be magma flowing about 200 to 300 meters underground. It seems that the volcano eruption here is real. Chapter 136. According to the knowledge that Ting Qingshan had learned in his previous life, the magma layer was usually more than 10,000 meters underground. Of course, there were some special areas where the magma would appear in shallower areas. However, this was the land of the 9 prefectures. It was hard to say if he could apply the knowledge from his previous life on Earth. These thoughts of Ting Qingshan only flashed through his mind for a moment. "Lead the way," Ting Qingshan shouted. Okay. The lean man walked along the side of the magma tunnel. However, he was at least a few zhang away from the edge of the magma. This was because the closer he got, the more terrifying the heat was. "Qingshan, this place is so hot." Ting Qinghu's forehead was full of sweat. Ting Qingshan continued to walk calmly. He was only 1 to 2 zhang away from the magma. He could clearly feel the waves of heat from the magma invading his body. The temperature of this heat is estimated to be around 100 degrees Celsius. It is indeed difficult for a normal warrior to withstand this temperature. 100 degrees Celsius heat was nothing to Ting Qingshan's terrifying body. Perhaps the temperature of the magma was the only thing that could threaten Ting Qingshan. One must know that Ting Qingshan's body was tougher than alloys and steel. He was not even afraid of a first-rated warrior's sword. With such a terrifying body, the temperature that it could withstand was terrifying. My lords, the surroundings of the underground magma is too hot and makes one extremely thirsty. The lean man continued to speak. Yes, there is still about 2 li ahead of us. The black fire spirit fruit is located. However, it is even hotter there. 2 li? Ting Qingshan ordered. Let's hurry up. Yes. The lean man immediately increased his speed. As he ran, Ting Qingshan looked at the surroundings. Around the lava flow, the rocks and other solid objects were dark black. As for the mountain walls at the side, the surface was faintly half-white. Ting Qingshan walked over and touched it with his hand. Gravel powder rolled down. Of course, other than the surface, the inner layer was still very hard. Furthermore, beside the lava flow, there was not only a path, but also a tunnel. However, the deeper one went, the darker it became. It was impossible to tell what was in the depth. "Where does this tunnel lead to?" Ting Qingshan asked. "I don't know. I don't dare to wander into those damned places." When he came down, he just walked along the path of the lava. "I know, it's easier to go back this way, and it won't be easy to get lost." The lean man said, "The further we go, the hotter it gets. The location of the black fire spirit fruit is the hottest." They moved forward along the winding lava river. Gradually, Ting Qingshan discovered, Did the lava change color? When I came down, I saw red lava. I didn't notice it on the way here, but it's already orange. Ting Qingshan could clearly feel the heat getting stronger. The black fire spirit fruit is in front, the lean man said. Black fire spirit fruit. Du Hong and Ting Qinghu's eyes also lit up as they sped up. The further they went, the higher the temperature. After another turn, Ting Qingshan and the rest arrived at a very spacious area. The original lava river had turned into a lava lake. It was a nearly circular lava lake that was more than 10 zhang wide. The lava at the edge of the lava lake was orange in color. The closer it was to the center of the lake, the more it slowly turned golden. Especially at the center, it was actually a dazzling white. In the center of the lake, there was actually a black stone. On the black stone, there was a transparent spirit root, black leaves, and a black fruit. Almost all of the spirit root was inside the stone. Only a very short section of the spirit root protruded from the surface of the stone. It was mainly the leaves and the fruit. At first glance, this black fruit was very ordinary and inconspicuous. Gurgle, the surroundings of the stone in the center of the lake were like spring water, constantly flowing with lava. The flowing lava was white, so white that it was dazzling. It was like looking up at the sun, dazzling. That white magma is magma at an extremely high temperature. The more it flows out, the lower the temperature, and the color gradually changes. Ting Qingshan stared at the dazzling white lava. Under the black stone, there must be a lava tunnel that leads to the depths of the earth. The lava is gushing out from below. The temperature of this white lava is astonishing. The red lava even made Ting Qingshan think of trying to immerse his body in the lava. Of course, it was just a thought. However, looking at the dazzling white lava, Ting Qingshan didn't even dare to have that thought. Even with my body, once I enter this white lava, I definitely won't be able to withstand it. There was no need to try. Just by looking at the dazzling lava that was as white as the sun, Ting Qingshan understood. Under the white lava, the black stone in the center of the lake not only didn't melt or change shape, but even its color didn't change. It's definitely not an ordinary stone. Ting Qingshan understood that the black stone should also be a treasure. However, the black stone was in the center of the lake, and its volume was so large. No one knew how much the black stone was hidden at the bottom of the lava flow. There was no way to move it. That spirit root, to be able to grow on such a stone, it must be extraordinary. Just as Ting Qingshan and the other two were staring at the lava lake and sighing, the lean man gritted his teeth and dashed towards the dark tunnel at the side. "Commandant! That kid ran away!" Du Hong shouted and chased after him. When the lean man ran towards the tunnel, Ting Qingshan also reacted and chased after him. However, when Ting Qingshan and Du Hong reached the entrance of the tunnel, they saw the lean man turn into an unknown tunnel. "You stay here, I'll chase after him," Ting Qingshan ordered. "Yes," Du Hong replied. Everyone knew that the lean man knew where the black fire spirit fruit was, and they must not let him escape. Otherwise, the Guiyuan sect wouldn't be able to obtain the black fire spirit fruit and the black fire spirit root so easily. In the dark tunnel, whenever there was another fork in the road, the lean man would run with his head lowered. Follow the lava and run forward. They will definitely be able to catch up to me. Previously, I didn't have the chance to escape in the white fog region. Now I can only escape into this tunnel. It's pitch black inside. Maybe I have a chance to escape. He closed his eyes and ran around. Ting Qingshan occasionally ran and occasionally stopped. In his mind, he still remembered left, left, right, left. Actually, in terms of speed, Ting Qingshan was faster than the other party. However, it was pitch black inside the tunnel. When the other party turned, Ting Qingshan couldn't see the other party clearly. Ting Qingshan could only use his ears to listen. Therefore, he slowed down. Ting Qingshan stood at a fork in the road and listened carefully. The sound of running came from the front, but in front of him was a cliff. Which way should I go? Ting Qingshan had been trained as an assassin, so it wasn't a problem for him to remember these simple routes. Suddenly, Ting Qingshan's right foot was like a phantom as it heavily kicked the mountain rock in front of him. Purring! The mountain rock directly exploded. The mountain rock that was more than 1 zhang thick was directly kicked away by Ting Qingshan. A large number of broken rocks also fell from above. However, Ting Qingshan only needed to use the transmutation unity law in his hand to easily shake off all the rock. The passage that was more than 1 zhang thick, which was enough for a person to pass through, was kicked open by Ting Qingshan. Walking over, Ting Qingshan listened again. Run, run. This damn place is pitch black. It would be strange if the people from the Guiyuan sect could find me. The lean man's face revealed a trace of a smile. Later, I will slowly find the way out. Just when he was feeling relaxed suddenly, a fishy smell filled the air. Before the lean man could react, he felt intense pain all over his body and lost consciousness. His red pupils scanned the surroundings. A huge black creature slowly walked out of its original nest. Its huge body, which was 2 zhang tall and 4 to 5 zhang long, was shocking. It was the red-scaled beast. However, the current red-scaled beast was much stronger than it was a month ago. Post-liminary realm experts posed no threat to the current red-scaled beast. Advancing step by step, it was so light that it didn't make a single sound. The red-scaled beast's 4 hooves were gentle, like a kitten moving forward, making no sound. After walking for a while, the red-scaled beast turned around a corner and discovered a figure in the distance. That familiar figure was holding the spear that had injured it before. The red-scaled beast's cold red pupils shrank and it immediately retreated. Ting Qingshan suddenly turned his head to look. Ting Qingshan immediately fled at lightning speed. In a short while, he had reached the corner and looked to both sides. There's no one. Ting Qingshan frowned. My intuition shouldn't be wrong. In his previous life, those secret agents couldn't even get close to Ting Qingshan. In this life, when he was 10 years old, no one could escape Ting Qingshan's detection from the ambush of mounted bandits. Although the red-scaled beast only took a glance and immediately retreated, Ting Qingshan was still able to detect it in an instant. Ting Qingshan held on to the reincarnation spear and looked to both sides of the fork. There's no movement at all. After a long while, Ting Qingshan could only choose to retreat. However, he didn't know that the lean man had already become the red-scaled beast's meal. After a long while, the red-scaled beast once again advanced into the gloomy labyrinth. The red-scaled beast was naturally used to dark and hot environments. In this tunnel without any light, Ting Qingshan could at most see 10 meters away. However, the red-scaled beast could see as if it was daytime. This was the unique ability of its eyes. Its nose was also very sensitive. Following the scent, the red-scaled beast easily followed the path that Ting Qingshan had taken. After a while, the red-scaled beast stopped at a spot. This was the spot where Ting Qingshan had kicked away the thick mountain rock. The rock that was over 1 zhang thick would probably be difficult for any post-liminary realm warrior to break through. However, Ting Qingshan had been able to kick it away. One must know that the strength of a human's legs was usually higher than the strength of their arms. Ting Qingshan's arms had a strength of 180,000 jin, so his legs were even more terrifying. However, his hands could use weapons and condense the distance into a spear tip. When the spear tip touched the spear tip, it could gather such a frightening force, so its power was naturally great. In terms of wielding weapons, the legs couldn't compare to the hands. However, in terms of strength, the legs were naturally stronger than the hands. Previously, when Ting Qingshan faced the Frost Jade Pool's Flood Dragon, he had also been able to escape with his life by kicking it away. The strength of one kick was at least 200,000 to 300,000 jin. The strength of this kick was naturally enough to kick away this rock. The red-scaled beast was very familiar with its own lair. Before today, this place definitely hadn't been destroyed. The red-scaled beast raised its huge head and stared at the path that Ting Qingshan had left in. Its pair of red pupils had already contracted. Its intelligence was not inferior to that of a normal human. From this frightening hole, it determined that its human enemy possessed a frightening strength that was enough to threaten it. Chapter 137. In the lava lake, the glaring white lava was bubbling and rolling. Ting Qingshan walked out from the dark tunnel at the side. Du Hong asked, "Commandant, did you catch up to that kid? There are too many tunnels and forks here. It's like a maze. And it's pitch black." Ting Qingshan shook his head and instructed, "All right, let's not bother about that person for now. We've already discovered the black fire spirit fruit, but it's obvious that there are still some days before it ripens. Let's go back first." "Yes, we have to report this to the commander." Du Hong nodded. "In the future, who do you think the sect will give the black fire spirit fruit to?" Ting Qinghu asked. Du Hong replied, "It was Lord Commandant who thought that there was something strange about this canyon and rushed over. This is all thanks to Lord Commandant's great contribution. Moreover, Lord Commandant's strength is the number one among the younger generation of the Guiyuan sect. Regardless of potential or contribution, it should be given to Lord Commandant." "Yes, you're right." Ting Qinghu nodded. "We haven't even gotten the black fire spirit fruit yet. What's the point of thinking about such things?" Ting Qingshan smiled and walked along the path they came from. "Let's go back. My mouth feels dry after staying in this place for a while." Ting Qinghu wiped his forehead, which was full of sweat. Even though they were far away, the temperature in this underground region was around 60 degrees. With such high temperatures, it was natural for one to sweat quickly. Fortunately, they were all powerful warriors. If they were ordinary people, it would be normal for them to faint from the heat. Following the dark and deep crevice, Ting Qingshan and the rest grabbed onto the vines and quickly climbed up. In one breath, they climbed a distance of more than 100 zhang, and with a leap, they reached the platform of the cave passage. The three of them jumped out of the crevice and walked towards the entrance. "Wait a while, don't rush out. First, look outside through the crevice. Let's see if there are any outsiders. If there are no outsiders, we'll go out," Ting Qingshan said. Du Hong and Ting Qinghu both nodded. They both understood that this cave passage was a huge secret. The three of them walked to the entrance of the cave. Ting Qingshan looked outside through the gaps between the vines and leaves. Other than the black armored corps, there were actually 2 ordinary martial artists in the canyon. "Wait a moment," said Ting Qingshan. Ting Qinghu and Du Hong were also waiting quietly. Ting Qingshan noticed that the 2 ordinary warriors were obviously afraid of the Guiyuan sect's men, and they quickly left the valley. "Let's go down." Ting Qingshan took the lead. He lifted the vines and jumped down. Powerful first-rated warriors still dared to jump from a height of more than 10 zhang. This would not expose Ting Qingshan's strength, but it would only make the black armored corps sergeants admire Ting Qingshan even more. Whoosh! More than 10 zhang and landed directly. Ting Qingshan easily deflected the impact. Ting Qinghu grabbed the vines and jumped down. When he slid down a few zhang, he grabbed the vines tightly. When he stopped, he jumped down, stepped on the cliff wall and landed easily. Whoosh! Du Hong actually imitated Ting Qingshan and jumped down from the entrance of the cave. Old Du, Ting Qingshan was shocked. However, when he landed, Du Hong immediately crouched down and rolled on the ground at the same time. Finally, he deflected the impact. "Sir Commandant, you are so powerful. You are so high that even I, Old Du, can't deflect the impact. I still need to roll." Du Hong laughed. Ting Qinghu, who was next to him, walked over and deliberately ridiculed. "Old Du, I relied on the vines. You jumped down directly. You are not giving me face. Tell me, what should I do?" "I will give you an extra pot of wine tonight. Is that okay?" Du Hong laughed. "1 pot? Ting Qinghu shook his head. No, you don't have to drink tonight. Your wine is mine. Ji Hong strictly limited the amount of wine he could drink. Because he needed to search in the afternoon, he drank very little at noon and more at night. However, there was still a limit. A centurion could only drink 3 pots of wine at most. All of it is yours. 3 pots? Why? You think it is too little? Why not give me your wine tomorrow night too? Ting Qingshan did not care about the 2 of them. He directly ordered the other black armored corps soldiers, first squad, stay in this canyon for the time being. It is best to hide in the bushes and wait. Keep an eye on the entrance of the cave. If you see the lean man that I brought in earlier come out, capture him. Yes. The soldiers of first squad answered. Sir Commandant, what if that person wants to escape? First squad asked. Ting Qingshan said indifferently, then break his legs. If it is a life and death battle, then there is no need to hold back. Yes. The soldiers heaved a sigh of relief. With Ting Qingshan's words, they did not need to be afraid. At noon, Guan Lu led the troops back to the camp first. Ji Hong came back later. When the 2 sides arrived, Ting Qingshan, who had rushed back earlier, immediately invited Guan Lu and Ji Hong to the camp for a secret discussion. What did you say? Ji Hong's face revealed a shocked expression. Guan Lu also looked at Ting Qingshan in shock. In these few days, there had been no news of anyone discovering the location of the black fire spirit fruit. Ting Qingshan nodded and said, Yes, just this morning, I discovered the location where the black fire spirit fruit grows. That place is indeed very hot. The location where the lava flowed was, of course, extremely hot. Quick, tell me in detail. Ji Hong was overjoyed. Ting Qingshan immediately began to explain in detail. Beside him, Ji Hong and Guan Lu also revealed expressions of joy. Hearing that the black fire spirit fruit was actually located at the location of the lava, they were also a little surprised. However, the lad who led the way escaped into the tunnel, and I was unable to find him. It was pitch black inside like a maze. Ting Qingshan said, I have already ordered a squad to hide in the canyon and wait quietly. Once that person comes out of the cave, he will definitely not be able to escape. Ji Hong listened and nodded his head repeatedly. Haha, Qingshan, you've done well this time. Ji Hong happily patted Ting Qingshan's shoulder. As long as we take care of the person who escaped, this news will be known to our Guiyuan sect. At that time, the black fire spirit fruit and black fire spirit root will be in our hands. Guan Lu also looked at Ting Qingshan. She didn't understand why Ting Qingshan was always able to make contributions. We have to keep this a secret. Ji Hong continued, we can't let others know. How about this, let's have lunch as usual. Everything will be as usual. When we go out to search in the afternoon, Qingshan and Guan Lu, just the 2 of you follow me into the cave and take a good look. Ji Hong and Guan Lu didn't see the black fire spirit fruit. They wouldn't be at ease if they didn't take a look. That afternoon, Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong, and Guan Lu led their men into the blazing mountain. Very quickly, Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong, and Guan Lu quietly arrived at the canyon. Lord Commandant, Lord Commander. The small group of men immediately walked out from the bushes. Have you found that kid? Ting Qingshan asked. No. The leader shook his head. Ting Qingshan didn't know that the lean man would never come out again. Yes, he probably got trapped in the maze and couldn't find the way out. Ting Qingshan immediately instructed. Yes, you guys rest first. Second small team, bring out the food and let them eat first. The members of second small team took out the hot food from their bags and passed it to the soldiers of first small team. As for Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong and Guan Lu, the 3 of them, they walked towards the short cliff. Ting Qingshan looked around. Seeing that there was no one, he pointed to the cave. It's there. It's really well hidden. It's on the cliff, and it's even covered by vines. Ji Hong laughed. In such a big blazing mountain, there are countless small peaks. who would climb the cliff to find it. Even if they paid attention to the cliff, it would still be difficult to find this hidden cave. Alright, Qingshan, you're in front. Ting Qingshan carried the reincarnation spear on his back and leapt nearly 10 zhang high. With another tap of his feet, he arrived at the entrance of the cave and quickly entered. Qingshan's Qinggong is really not bad, Ji Hong praised. Guan Lu snorted and similarly leapt up. Unexpectedly, she was also 8 or 9 zhang high. She tapped on a protruding rock on the cliff and also flew into the cave. Ji Hong looked around and quickly entered as well. The deep and serene crevice, the dense mist, and the blazing lava flow, all of this caused Ji Hong and Guan Lu to exclaim in admiration. Especially the high temperature of the lava flow, which made Ji Hong and Guan Lu fearful. They both stayed a few zhang away from the lava flow. It wasn't that they didn't dare to approach, but that they didn't want to waste their inner strength. The closer they got, the more inner strength they would have to expend. Who could be like Ting Qingshan, who didn't care about walking beside the lava flow? Of course, Ting Qingshan also followed Ji Hong and the rest, staying far away from the lava flow. Haha, that really is the black fire spirit fruit. At the edge of the lava lake, the three of them looked at the black fire spirit fruit in the middle of the lava lake. Qingshan, you've done a great service. Ji Hong laughed happily. From today onwards, we'll come in every morning and afternoon to take a look. Once it's ripe, we'll immediately pick it. Don't let the red-scaled beast snatch it away. Ji Hong said solemnly. The black fire spirit fruit grows in this place, so the red-scaled beast must come here frequently. Moreover, the red-scaled beast should have reached maturity. It's more than 2 zhang tall. A single post-liminary realm warrior wouldn't be able to threaten it. Only an innate realm warrior or a group of post-liminary realm warriors would be able to deal with it. Just like that, Ting Qingshan and the rest looked the same as usual. It was just that every day Ji Hong, Guan Lu, and Ting Qingshan would quietly and carefully sneak into the cave twice. Once in the morning and once in the afternoon. After all, Ting Qingshan and the rest couldn't be sure when the black fire spirit fruit would mature. Just like that, 3 days passed. Wu Dai was a warrior who liked to roam the world. With countless warriors gathered at the blazing mountain, he would definitely participate in such a grand event. But to him, the various challenges and vendettas every night made him excited. As for searching for the black fire spirit fruit during the day, it was a little boring. With my strength, even if I obtain the black fire spirit fruit, I won't be able to keep it. After searching for a while, Wu Dai found the peak of a mountain and lay down contentedly under a big tree, enjoying the mountain breeze as he took an afternoon nap. Is there a voice? Wu Dai opened his eyes and with a flip of his body, he climbed to the side and looked down into the canyon. Sure enough, there were 3 people together. It's not Commander Ji Hong of the Gui Yuan sect. That's Ting Qingshan and that girl. Wu Dai's eyes lit up and he immediately retracted his head, peeking down through the weeds. He saw Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong, and that girl quickly scuttling into the cave on the other side of the cliff. Every time, the 3 of them would look around, as if to see if there was anyone else. So cautious, and that place is so hidden. Could it be that? Wu Dai's eyes lit up, and the smile on his face became even more radiant. I, Wu Dai, have been around for so many years, it seems that my luck is about to change. September 28th, midnight. This was an important moment, because, from September 28th onwards, the monthly votes counted as 2. Tomato didn't want to lose. However, the monthly votes were in everyone's hands. If Tomato wanted to surpass them in one go, he would have to rely on everyone. The end of the month was the most critical moment, and the monthly votes counted as 2. Tomato had persisted for 10 consecutive days, and now he requested everyone, cast your monthly votes for Tomato. Method to cast your monthly votes. Below, there was only a few words. Recommended monthly votes to support the author. Just click on it. charge towards first place. Chapter 138. At the foot of the blazing mountain, tents were connected together. It was noon and most of the warriors were eating lunch. Some people were enjoying the cool air under the shade of the trees after eating. That Ching Hu Island's young island lord Gu Xiu has come out. Wu Dai was overjoyed. He had been staring at the location of the Ching Hu Island's camp and immediately went up to greet him. At this moment, Gu Xiu was holding a long spear and leaning against a short tree, resting with his eyes closed. Just as Wu Dai was about to approach, the two experts beside Gu Xiu immediately looked at him coldly. However, Wu Dai was not afraid at all and continued to move forward. It should be known that no one dared to approach the resting place of the young island lord Gu Xiu for fear of offending the experts of Ching Hu Island. "Get lost!" one of the experts shouted in a low voice. "Young island lord!" Wu Dai shouted. Gu Xiu opened his eyes and glanced at Wu Dai indifferently. A smile appeared on his face. "I don't seem to know you." Wu Dai lowered his voice and said, "Young island lord, I have a big secret to tell you." "What secret?" Gu Xiu's heart moved and he walked over. Wu Dai laughed and whispered in front of Gu Xiu, "The secret of the location of the black fire spirit fruit." Gu Xiu narrowed his eyes and locked his gaze on Wu Dai like a cold blade. Wu Dai smiled foolishly. "Young island lord, I am just a small character. Now, I don't even have a weapon secret manual. Even the inner strength secret manual is unrated." Gu Xiu thought for a while and said, "What kind of weapon secret manual do you want?" "The best one is a scimitar," Wu Dai hastily said. "The one I have." Wu Dai showed the scimitar at his waist to Gu Xiu. "Scimitar?" Gu Xiu smiled. "If what you said is true, my bodyguard happens to have a human-level secret manual, Galeblade. This secret manual contains the inner strength cultivation method." Wu Dai was overjoyed. Human-level secret manual? When he wandered the world, the secret manual he practiced was an unrated inner strength secret manual. As for the saber art, he peeked at others practicing and learned some moves at will. His strength was at the lowest level among the warriors. Even a third-rate martial artist with a few tricks up his sleeve could pose a threat to him. "Bring me there first. If there really is a black fire spirit fruit, I will give you the secret manual," Gu Xiu said. "Actually, I'm not 100% sure whether or not there is a black fire spirit fruit," Wu Dai said again. Gu Xiu's face darkened. "You're playing with me." No, Wu Dai hastily said. "I inadvertently saw the Guiyuan sect's Commander Jihong, Commandant Ting Qingshan, and a woman. The three of them quietly entered a secret place. Moreover, they were very careful before entering, appearing very mysterious. The three of them did not search for the black fire spirit fruit, but instead entered such a secretive place. It is most likely the location of the black fire spirit fruit." Only then did Gu Xiu's expression lighten up. Guiyuan sect. Gu Xiu then looked at Wu Dai. "That secret place, where is it?" "Young island lord, that secret manual," Wu Dai hastily said. "Of course I will give it to you." Gu Xiu humphed. "I don't care about a secret manual. When we get there, I will naturally give it to you." Wu Dai laughed and said, "Young island lord, your position is high, and I am just a small character. If you give me the secret manual, are you still afraid that I will deceive you?" Gu Xiu slightly muttered, "That's good too. Let's go, follow me to the tent first. In the afternoon, when we enter the mountain together, you will bring us there." Yes, Wu Dai hastily replied. In his heart, Wu Dai was ecstatic. "Haha, I, Wu Dai, have finally obtained a good inner strength cultivation method and a good saber art secret manual. I can also turn over a new leaf like a salted fish. That old third Wang humiliated me last time. Damn it, when I master my saber art, I will definitely find him for revenge." He then obediently entered Ching Hu Island's tent. In the afternoon, there were a total of 4 people at the bottom of the canyon. Besides Wu Dai, there was Gu Shiyu, a slightly fat middle-aged man, and a triangular-eyed, bald old man. On the first day, the soldiers of the black armored corps of the Gui Yuan sect had been hiding in the bushes, waiting for the lean man to appear. Later, in order not to be exposed, the soldiers of the black armored corps didn't dare to stay here. Once they were discovered, the black armored corps soldiers were always in the canyon. It would easily arouse suspicion. Therefore, it was better to pretend to be searching outside. Look, it's there. Wu Dai pointed upwards. The secret cave? Over there? The triangular-eyed, white-haired, bald old man raised his head and took a look. Then, with a leap, he was like an eagle landing on the cliff wall. Grabbing onto the vines, he looked around and discovered a large cave hidden behind the vines. The bald old man nodded his head to the bottom. Haha, there really is a secret cave. It's so hidden, it might really be true. Suddenly, the fat middle-aged man picked up Wu Dai and flew into the cave with a few steps on the cliff. Gu Shiyu followed closely behind. Wu Dai had never come in before, so the 4 of them could only move forward cautiously. First, they went underground through the cracks, then passed through the mist and arrived at the shore of the lava flow. They didn't dare to recklessly enter the dark and immeasurable tunnel, so they just kept moving forward. They kept moving forward until they arrived at the lava lake. Glug glug, with the black boulder in the middle of the lake as the center, the dazzling white lava continuously flowed out like a spring. The boiling hot air caused the 4 people at the edge of the lava lake to sweat. The fat middle-aged man looked at the black fire spirit fruit on the black boulder in surprise and said happily, "Haha, it's the black fire spirit fruit. It's the black fire spirit fruit." A sneer appeared on the bald old man's face. That Gui Yuan sect is really lucky to have found it first. However, this black fire spirit fruit belongs to our Ching Hu Island. At this moment, a voice sounded. 3 lords, I have something to say. A slightly trembling voice sounded. The 3 turned their heads and looked. The one who spoke was Wu Dai, the one who leaked the news. There's no need to keep this person alive. The bald old man was already prepared to make his move. This kind of person who knew the secret death was the best way to keep it a secret. 3 lords of Ching Hu Island. Previously, this lowly one was afraid that the lords would kill this lowly one to keep the secret. Therefore, this lowly one held back. Wu Dai smiled awkwardly. If this lowly one doesn't return alive tonight, then, the secret of the black fire spirit fruit will definitely be discovered and spread. The facial expressions of Gu Shiyu and the other 2 changed. 3 lords, please spare my life. It was me who gauged the heart of a gentleman with my own mean measure. Wu Dai hastily said, once I return, this news will definitely not spread. Humph! The bald old man snorted coldly. In this day and age, no one was a fool. The bald old man, Gu Shiyu and the other 2, any one of them could easily kill Wu Dai. But now, they didn't dare to do so. No one knew what methods Wu Dai had secretly used. Once the news really spread, their efforts would be in vain. We, the people of Ching Hu Island, will definitely keep our word. The bald old man snorted coldly. However, before the black fire spirit fruit ripens, you must stay in Ching Hu Island's tent. Yes, yes. Wu Dai hastily nodded. Martial uncle, martial ancestor. Gu Shiyu looked at the black fire spirit fruit, his eyes burning with passion. The Gui Yuan sect also knows that the black fire spirit fruit is here. When that time comes, the people of the Gui Yuan sect will snatch the black fire spirit fruit from us. What should we do? They dare. The white-haired bald old man snorted coldly, a cold glint flashing in his triangular eyes. A small Gui Yuan sect dares to compete with Ching Hu Island? If they really don't know what's good for them, we will just kill them. If they snatch the black fire spirit fruit, even if they die, it will be because their strength is inferior. With the death of 3 people, would the Guiyuan sect dare to challenge Qinghu Island? Gu Shiyu and the slightly plump, middle-aged man could only nod in agreement. This time, it was announced that Gu Shiyu was leading the troops, but in fact, the strongest expert in this troop was Gu Shiyu's martial ancestor, Du Jiu. At this moment, Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong, and Guan Lu were climbing up the large crevice, grabbing onto the connected vines and rapidly descending. It was pitch black. Phew! The 3 of them landed on the ground one after another. Smelling the smell of sulfur, the 3 of them walked into the white fog with familiarity. Qingshan, I think that the black fire spirit fruit will be ripe in a few more days, Ji Hong said as he walked, his face full of smiles. Obviously, he was in a good mood. Yes, if we carefully endure these few days, we will have a chance to snatch the black fire spirit fruit. Ting Qingshan and the others continued to advance. Gurgle, the lava flowed slowly, and the scorching hot air spread in all directions. Gu Shiyu wiped the sweat off his forehead. Martial ancestor, martial uncle, let's go back first. Come here twice a day from now on. As the white-haired bald old man spoke, he also turned around. The 3 people, along with Wu Dai, walked along the path they had come from. However, after walking a few steps, they discovered that at the corner ahead, the figures of Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong, and Guan Lu appeared in their line of sight. Gu Shiyu and the other 2 from Qinghu Island were stunned. Ting Qingshan and the other 2 were also stunned. Wu Dai looked at the people on both sides and was dumbfounded. They actually came in at this time. Gu Shiyu didn't expect that the other party would also come in at this time. Although the 3 from Qinghu Island were shocked, they were still mentally prepared. However, Ting Qingshan and the other 2 were not mentally prepared at all. In their eyes, the black fire spirit fruit was in the palm of their hands. However, at this crucial moment, the people from Qinghu Island actually came in. The people from Qinghu Island actually came in as well. Ji Hong's facial expression changed drastically. This is troublesome. Ting Qingshan frowned. Ha ha! The white-haired and bald elder laughed. Ji Hong, your luck is not bad. You actually discovered this place. However, this place has already been discovered by Qinghu Island for more than half a month. First come, first serve. This black fire spirit fruit should be obtained by Qinghu Island. Gu Shiyu and the fat middle-aged man stood on both sides of the bald elder. Du Laojiu, Ji Hong said angrily, you came in half a month ago? Let me ask you, how did you get down that crevice that is at least 100 zhang deep? The bald elder was stunned. They followed the vines down. Du Laojiu, you lied without even blinking. Those vines were made up by our people. Ji Hong's voice was very loud as he stared at the bald elder. Wu Dai watched the 2 sides quarrel and thought to himself, these vines were made up by others. How could the people from Qinghu Island come in earlier than the people from Guiyuan sect? Even your lies were seen through in an instant. The bald elder's facial expression immediately turned ugly. The vines were made up by our people. The first to enter this place was, of course, a member of my Guiyuan sect. Ji Hong said coldly, didn't you just say that first come, first served? Chapter 139. The bald old man was at a loss for words. Ji Hong. Gu Shiyu smiled and said, my martial ancestor was just trying to trick you, and you said that the vines were woven by you. It seems that only Guiyuan sect and Qinghu Island know that the black fire spirit fruit is here. Then this will be easy. Guiyuan sect should not fight with us. Qinghu Island will definitely thank you after this. Ji Hong's face darkened. Young island lord, these words are not pleasant to hear. Why? Does Guiyuan sect look like we lack money? The bald elder's face was ice cold as he shouted, Ji Hong, I'm talking nicely with you. Don't be so shameless. I, Dujio, will make it clear that the Black Fire Spirit Fruit and the Black Fire Spirit Root belong to Qing Hu Island. Guiyuan sect, don't even think about getting a single leaf. If you continue to pester. The bald elder's triangular eyes flashed with coldness. At the same time, with a clang, he pulled out 2 short blades from his waist. Ji Hong, I advise you to turn back obediently. The bald elder held a short blade in each of his hands. Ji Hong's face turned ugly. Ting Qingshan and Guan Lu looked at each other. Blade of Life and Death Du Jiu, ranked 17th in the Earth ranking, the master of Qing Hu Island Lord. Ting Qingshan knew his opponent's identity. In terms of strength, Ting Qingshan did not care about this Blade of Life and Death Du Jiu. Ranked in the top 20, Ting Qingshan could definitely kill him with his reincarnation spear. But his opponent was the master of Qing Hu Island Lord. The current Qing Hu Island Lord was an innate expert, an ambitious and ruthless person who ruled Yangzhou. Who dared to kill his master? Old Du Jiu. Ji Hong was slightly angry. Ji Hong, seeing that we were friends when we were young, I'll give you a way out. Don't think that I won't dare to kill you. The strongest among the 3 of you should be that Ting Qingshan. Killing Meng Tian is indeed not bad. However, compared to me, you're far inferior. The bald old man said coldly, I'll count to 3. If you don't leave, don't blame me for being merciless. The Life and Death Saber Dujio was definitely an arrogant and cold person. Who in the world doesn't know? Commander. Ting Qingshan and Guan Lu both looked towards Ji Hong. Ji Hong gritted his teeth. Ting Qingshan was a little anxious. If this Ji Hong really gives up the Black Fire Spirit Fruit to the other party, I will not be able to obtain it. As for the Black Fire Spirit Root, it would be difficult to obtain it. I am confident that I can kill that Ting Qingshan, but Ji Hong doesn't know that I have such strength. Yes, Ji Hong was not clear about Ting Qingshan's true strength. 1. Du Jiu shouted coldly. The current situation forced Ji Hong to grit his teeth and shout, Let's go! Go! Ting Qingshan was a little anxious. Ji Hong, Commander Ji. Then I'll have to thank the Guiyuan sect. However, I don't want the news of the location of the Black Fire Spirit Fruit to be spread the moment we leave. If the news is really leaked, I can only suspect you. Gu Shiyu's voice sounded. That would ruin our relationship. Ji Hong indeed had the idea of leaking the news after leaving. Anyway, the other party wouldn't be able to find any evidence against him. But after hearing Gu Shiyu's words, Ji Hong suddenly turned his head and stared at Gu Shiyu, Du Jiu, and Guan Lu. Old Du Jiu, you can't go overboard. Today you guys were really ruthless, but, if you go overboard, you will suffer retribution. Retribution? Du Jiu's triangular eyes swept across Ting Qingshan and the other 2 viciously. Just the 3 of you. Martial Granduncle, Guan Lu said in a low voice. Commander. Ting Qingshan also shouted anxiously with an anxious look. Ting Qingshan was only a 17-year-old youth. 17 years old was the age where one's temper was at its peak. No matter how calm a youth was, it was normal for him to be unable to control his anger. Ting Qingshan didn't want to turn back just like that. He was determined to obtain the Black Fire Spirit Root. It's best if we can make our move now. If Ji Hong doesn't agree, then I can only do it secretly. Ji Hong's face darkened. Qingshan, Guan Lu, let's go. Ting Qingshan and Guan Lu could only endure it and follow behind Ji Hong. Gu Shiyu, Du Jiu, and the other 2 laughed. Wu Dai, who was standing at the side, laughed along. Senior Du, you're really powerful. The people of the Guiyuan sect actually left just like that. Wu Dai flattered. The bald old man's face showed a hint of pride. Ever since his disciple reached the innate realm and became the island lord of Qing Hu Island, his status had also risen. In addition, he was an expert listed in the Earth ranking. In Qinghu Island, his status was extremely high. He was used to being arrogant and domineering. Who dared to provoke him? Haha, great master, the black fire spirit fruit is in front. A very light laughter came from afar. The three people of Qinghu Island were stunned. They all turned their heads to look in another direction. One must know that the lava lake flowed in two directions. Ting Qingshan and the others had walked from the left side of the lava river to the lava lake, and the sound came from the right side. Someone came in from this side? The bald old man was stunned. Wu Dai. Gu Shiyu looked at Wu Dai. I don't know. Wu Dai shook his head. This was his first time entering the underground. How would he know what was at the end of the other side? The bald old man lowered his voice and said, "Don't worry about anything else. Let's go over first." Immediately, the three people of Qinghu Island quietly advanced towards the right side. It was obviously more spacious than the left side. Although the passageway was winding, it was too spacious. Qinghu Island only walked about 10 zhang before they saw another group of people in the distance. The distance between the two sides was about 500 zhang. It's Qinghu Island. Run! One of the people from the other side suddenly shouted. Immediately, the group of people fled without hesitation. Kill them! The bald old man shouted angrily and immediately rushed over. Gu Shiyu and his martial uncle also immediately rushed over. The fleeing speed of the group of people in the distance was only average. As for Qinghu Island's side, they were all experts in the post-liminary realm. They quickly closed the distance between them. Ji Hong, Ting Qingshan, and Guan Lu, who were originally full of anger and were walking back along the road, naturally heard these two shouts. It's Qinghu Island! Kill them! Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong, and Guan Lu looked at each other. There's another group of people. Guan Lu said blankly. Go back! Ji Hong shouted. The three immediately turned around and rushed towards Qinghu Island's side. They dashed all the way. There's a fight in front. Although the road was winding, Ting Qingshan could already hear the sounds of fighting not far away. In terms of speed, the three men from Guiyuan sect were almost the same as the three men from Qinghu Island. However, the three men from Qinghu Island were fighting with the other side, so they naturally slowed down. Soon, Ting Qingshan and the others could already see the scene of the fight in the distance. Leader, hurry up and run! One of the strong men shouted. When he was stabbed, he still tightly hugged the leg of the martial uncle of Qinghu Island. Phew! The martial uncle stepped on the strong man's head coldly. Red and white blood flowed out slowly. The martial uncle then continued to rush over. Third brother! The great master had already run more than 10 zhang away. He looked back and tears flowed down his face. Great master, run quickly! The others also desperately tried to stop the great master. It was obvious that the great master's qinggong was good. He immediately ran. Gu Shiyu wanted to chase him patiently, but those people blocked him without fear of death. These mounted bandits were all desperados, and each of them was ruthless. They used lime powder, threw concealed weapons, and even tangled them with no regard for their lives. Even the experts of the earth ranking would be affected when faced with these elite mounted bandits who risked their lives to intercept them. Pooh! Pooh! Blood splattered. The three men from Qinghu Island finally broke through the blockade of over 10 people. They could no longer see the shadow of the great master, so they could only continue chasing. The fork. The three men from Qinghu Island stood at the fork and looked at the two paths ahead. They didn't know which way to go. Haha, Du Laojiu. The qinggong of the leader of the mounted bandits is not much weaker than yours. With a group of desperados blocking him, he would have escaped long ago. At this moment, Ji Hong and the other two arrived. Ji Hong felt very carefree. Man proposes, God disposes. Your Qinghu Island is fated to die. Looking at the three men from Guiyuan sect, The three men from Qinghu Island only snorted and turned to leave. There's actually another path. Ting Qingshan exclaimed. Guan Lu said coldly, there's still another path. The cave that we came from is only 1 zhang high. The red-scaled beast should be 2 zhang tall now. When it was young, it could enter from the path that we came from. But now that it has grown up, it can no longer enter. Therefore, there must be a wider path. Ting Qingshan was also shocked. That's right. The red-scaled beast would definitely come to eat the black fire spirit fruit. Therefore, there must be a path that allowed the red-scaled beast to enter. I didn't notice this before. Ting Qingshan thought to himself. But it's fine. Ting Qingshan was secretly happy. When the time comes, it'll be easier for me to make my move. With my methods, I'll definitely be able to obtain the black fire spirit root amidst the chaos. A brawny man with 3 braids emerged from the surface of the lake. His eyes were bloodshot. Third brother, Ahu. You guys. These brothers of his had lost their lives for the sake of him, their big brother. The strong man's eyes were bloodshot. He gritted his teeth and said hatefully, Qinghu Island. If I don't take revenge, I won't be able to rest in peace. Black fire spirit fruit, don't even think of monopolizing it. In the evening, Ting Qingshan and a large group of people were eating at the foot of the mountain. At this moment, a voice could be heard. Have you heard? Someone found an underwater passage in the deep pool at the west side of the blazing mountain, below the peak of the Flying Monkey Rock. After rushing into the underground passage, they will find a wide underground tunnel. After walking for 2 to 3 li, they will find the lava flow. After walking for another 2 li, they will find the black fire spirit fruit. Flying Monkey Rock? We passed by that place the last time we searched. I even took a bath in that deep pool. That deep pool? There's an underwater passage at the bottom of the pool? The rumors are very convincing. Many people have already started to go take a look. Let's go take a look. Ting Qingshan, Ji Hong, and Guan Lu looked at each other. The entrance to the other passage is actually at the bottom of the pool. Ji Hong sighed. This news must have been leaked by that great master. In just a short 4 to 6 hours, so many people have found out about it. The news really spreads fast. Ting Qingshan sighed. Guan Lu nodded and said, looks like it will be difficult for anyone to monopolize the black fire spirit fruit and the black fire spirit root. When this news spread, one thing was decided. The fight for the black fire spirit fruit would be a chaotic battle. Experts in the open and experts in the dark would wait for the black fire spirit fruit to ripen before they would make their move. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.